A rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-568-2790, 800-568-2790, or biglou.com.
What's up, my friends? This is Francisco Lindor.
This is Devin Williams. This is Luke Weaver.
Bo Bichette here. You're listening to the home of New York Mets baseball.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. Don.
I was fighting with obesity. I wore...
You were losing.
Hahn.
John, Peter, thank you. Alan, I hope you make the team.
And Rosenberg.
Richard, have you ever heard of Brazzers?
No.
This isn't North Dakota. This is New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
The best threesome I've ever heard.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Big news today. 3 o'clock, of course, in the big city. With Don LaGreca and Peter Rosenberg, I'm Alan Hahn, and big news today for sure, and not a big news of surprise, of course, right, but still a headline. Carlos Mendoza, if you've been under a rock today, you haven't heard this yet, but we're telling you he was fired as manager of the Mets. Andy Green, his interim replacement, and David Stearns, the president of baseball operations for the Mets, is now at the podium to address the media.
I enjoyed working with him, and I'm going to miss him. Despite all of our efforts, Mendy's included, we haven't been able to get this going this year. And I take responsibility for that. Ultimately, everything that occurs in baseball operations, including our major league record, is my responsibility. I also have a responsibility to push us forward, to look for solutions, and to make difficult decisions and change when I think it's needed. I understand there's no magic bullet here. There's no one change that immediately is going to turn this around. This is incremental. This is day-to-day. This is doing the work every single day to get us back on track. I've asked Andy Green to help us with that work for the remainder of the season. He'll be our interim manager through the rest of the season, and at that point, we'll conduct a full managerial search. I think Andy's got a wealth of experience to help us in this role in a variety of different positions. His familiarity with our players, some of our players, and our processes will help, and he's going to provide a fresh perspective, new eyes, some new thoughts. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Steve.
David, the results haven't been there since day one this year, but you've remained steadfast in your support for Carlos. What changed that made this happen right now?
I don't think there's one thing. We were steadfast in our support for Carlos. I was steadfast in my support for Carlos because we believed in Carlos. And we believed that collectively, with him helping us lead this, we were going to turn it around. And we haven't. And in some cases, it's gotten worse. And when that happens, at some point, you got to make a change. So there's not one moment or one thing or one observation, but it was time. And so we did this.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems as though you're pretty emotional about this. Just what are you feeling on a personal level that's leading to that right now?
Look, in these roles, you're a partner with the manager. Carlos and I spoke almost every day for the last 2.5 years. So these are very difficult decisions. I have a ton of respect for him. At the same time, this is my job, and I have a responsibility in the best of my ability and the best of my judgment to lead the organization. That includes making difficult decisions. It includes making change when change is needed. And in my estimation, our estimation, change is needed right now.
You last one from me. You had also said that ultimately it falls on you. The record, you remade this entire team this offseason. You were very confident in what it could do. As you have evaluated what's happened, where do you think your initial projections and thoughts fell short?
Yeah, I think that evaluation is ongoing and will continue to be ongoing. Clearly, we've fallen short. I still have confidence in the talent that's in our room. I believe in the talent that's in our room. But belief on its own does not lead to results. And I understand that. We need better play. We need better production. And my focus right now, and Andy's focus right now, is going to be doing everything we can to put our guys in the best positions to succeed.
Mike.
David, you said you consider it a partnership with Mendy. That said, have you considered stepping aside? Is that something you've thought about?
I have not.
Why not?
I believe that we are building the foundation of an organization that can deliver what we all want. I don't believe that our record on the field this year is indicative of some of the advancements that we've made in an organization. But clearly, our record is nowhere good enough.
And do you believe you have ownership support to continue in this job?
Yes.
What makes you think that?
Steve and I are talking on a regular basis, and he certainly indicated that I have his support.
Bruce.
David, are the players that you brought in, do you think the wrong players for this ball club, or do you think these players have underachieved?
I think regardless of which side of that paradigm you fall on, the end result is we have not been good enough. And we need to evaluate not only why that is, but in the moment right now, do everything we can to get our players, our roster, our team as a whole moving forward. We've talked about, why, right? Why when you go through a half a season like this with players that in the past have performed at a really high level, it's never just one thing. There are multiple things that are contributing to this, and we need to address all of them.
What is your message to your passionate fan base right now?
I understand our fans' frustration and anger. I think I share that. And we will do everything we can to improve.
Joe.
David here in the middle. Was the decision solely your decision, or was ownership involved in the decision?
Any decision like this, of this magnitude for an organization, is an organizational decision. And we were aligned that this was the right thing to do.
And why should fans have confidence in you, because you mentioned the team's current performance, to be able to help turn this around?
Yeah, I understand fan skepticism. If I were sitting in the fan seat, I would share that. From my perspective, what I can do and what I will do is, for as long as I'm sitting in this seat, work as hard as I can with the people around me to do everything we can to push this organization forward. And I think we're going to be able to do that.
Laura?
Just given last year's collapse, the reconstruction of the roster and the new coaching staff, do you personally feel that you put Carlos Mendoza in a position to succeed this season?
I think when you look at our record right now, this is not where we want to be. We all came into the season believing we were going to have a better year. I thought we were going to have a better year. Our players thought we were going to have a better year. Certainly Mendy thought we were going to have a better year. We haven't.
And just in terms of the last calendar year, how much of those failures do you put on Carlos Mendoza?
This is never on one person. Certainly not all on Carlos. As I said, I take responsibility for our record on the field. I take responsibility for the entirety of our baseball operations group.
Chelsea.
You had kind of talked about believing in the talent and trying to get things started to put guys in position to succeed. When you look at where you are now, are you thinking about still kind of trying to turn this around in the immediate future, or how much of this switch can we take as a signal that you're kind of thinking longer term?
Okay, I understand we have a uphill battle ahead of us this year, but we're not turning the page. We all remain very focused on doing everything we can to win as many games this year, while recognizing where we are in the standings.
Abby.
Do you think that Andy Green's going to be able to get more from these players than what they've already given this year, and why is he the guy who can get more out of them? In what ways can he?
I think sometimes a new voice, a new perspective, a new view helps. And sometimes it's really difficult to explain why or how. But at this point, it was time to try. I think Andy, just by virtue of his experiences, both before he got here and during his time with the Mets, is going to bring something a little bit different. And I think for us, it was time to try something a little different.
Disha.
Just how was this news delivered to the clubhouse, and how did they handle it?
Yeah, I called a number of our players. We had a couple of other senior executives call some players, and then we just held a team meeting. Our players loved Mendy, and Mendy deserved to be loved. So this hits them, but they're also professionals, and they're going to go out and compete at a very high level at 7 p.m. tonight.
Joel.
I appreciate you said it's an organizational decision, but did Steve come to you to fire Mendy, or did you go to him?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of Steve and my conversations. We talk pretty much every day about the performance of our team, and we came to the decision that this was the right move.
And is it particularly tough to do this because there is a chance, a pretty strong chance, you're playing for the future at some point this year? You are removing your farm director to do this job. That dynamic, how tough was it?
Yeah, I think we have confidence in the executives who are leading our organization. I have confidence in the leadership of our player development group.
Tyler.
David, what was it about this group that gave you confidence initially that it could win?
Yeah, we believed and still believe we have a lot of really talented players in that clubhouse. A lot of players who have performed at a high level throughout their careers, and we just haven't gotten that going yet this year.
You look back on, because it was a big remake over the offseason and letting go a lot of guys who had been here for a while. Do you second guess any of that? I mean, you hear fans chanting for Pete Alonso the other night. What did that feel like for you?
Yeah, I think my focus continues to be on how do we get the most out of this present group, and that's where my energy is going to be spent.
Peter.
David, when did you inform Carlos of the news, and how did he take the conversation?
Yeah, Carlos and I spent some time together this morning. Carlos is the ultimate professional, and he took it as the ultimate professional does.
All right.
David, you mentioned it's gotten worse. The 6 errors on Wednesday, the ugly losses here the last week. Do you think Carlos just lost the clubhouse?
No, I don't think Carlos lost the clubhouse.
And do you think Andy Green come in and change the trajectory of this particular group?
Look, as I said, I don't think there's a flip of a switch. I don't think there's a magic bullet. I think Andy will come in and provide different perspective, a different style. And at this point, I thought a change was needed.
When it comes to the trade market, is there a possibility that you add to win this season in the next few weeks, or is that only August 3rd we'll sell if needed if we decide to do that?
Yeah, I'm not focused on the trade deadline at all right now.
Jerry.
David, you said you're building the foundation of the organization and get it to where you want it to be long term. How do you juxtapose that with the most visible part of the organization being on pace for its worst season since 2003?
Yeah, clearly what we are building only matters if you succeed at the major league level. The major league level is what matters. Wins and losses at the major league level at the end of the day is what this is all about. That's why I'm here, and we need to get better there.
Gary?
David, you not only made a lot of changes with your players in the offseason, but you basically revamped your entire coaching staff. Do you think that the lack of continuity has had anything to do with the performance of the team?
I certainly think it's possible. I think it's possible. As I said before, I think when you have a first half like this, you play like this for a prolonged stretch, it's never just one thing. It's probably a variety of things, and that is possible.
Roger?
David, I'm asking because I didn't really feel like we got a very clear answer earlier. Do you, in what ways do you think that Mendoza was given the right thing, put in the right position to succeed?
Yeah, I think we all felt as though we had a talented team coming into this year. I still feel we have a talented team, and we haven't played well enough. I would certainly admit that. I think Mendy would admit that as well.
Joel?
David, two things are possible. You're calling Andy Green an interim. Is he in play for the job? Is he auditioning right now?
No. Andy will return to the front office following this year.
And do you have any feel right now off of what you saw out of Mendy and having gone through a cycle in New York, qualities that you think you want to emphasize in whoever does take this job next?
I'm not going to speculate on that right now.
Jerry?
David, this is the third managerial change of the year. Philadelphia had some immediate success. Boston did not. Do you feel like you should have made this move sooner?
As I said before, we had faith in Mendy. We had faith collectively that we were going to turn this around. We haven't, and it got to the point where we felt as though a change was necessary.
All right. So we're going to cut in here now at this point because first and foremost, fellas, I want to first of all applaud the New York media. They put him they put him absolutely on the grill. He earned every moment of that, and they asked all the questions that needed to be asked, fair questions that needed to be asked, and it's amazing to me some of the answers that we received. John, I'm going to leave the floor to you as the resident Met fan for your initial reactions to the move and to what you just heard from David Stearns.
I mean, where to begin? There's just so much to dive into. You know, when he says that it was just time for Carlos, I get that. I don't think there was any intention of firing Mendoza. I think he wanted to keep him on for the rest of the season. But it was just so ugly over the last 6 games, specifically the 6 errors in the second game of the doubleheader, losing 6 in a row, swept at home in a 4-game series by the Cubs. Sometimes there are moments you just can't get up from. Before you start to feel bad for Mendy, and I think there are a lot of people that do, remember, he was a part of a collapse last year and an awful start this year. So that's going to eventually cost you your job. Now, how does this move the needle moving forward? It doesn't, because you don't have a manager here that's doing anything, I guess, other than evaluating the talent. David Stearns won't say it, but every action, every that he said, every gesture during the press conference is, this is his fault. This is all on him. This is all about the roster. That there's nothing else. You have the president of player personnel now leading the show to evaluate what the heck's wrong with this roster. That's what this is. He confirmed that this interim manager, Andy Green, does not have a chance to become the manager of this team moving forward. How often do you hear that? I think that's because they probably want to give it to Carlos Beltran. Carlos won't take it. Why would he take over this mess? Wait till the beginning of the season. Let's see the roster be done. Have a spring training with this team. So I think the fact that who's the interim manager, where he comes from, he's telling you this is a roster problem. So this is all based on firing the manager. Right now, with the target directly at his chest, is David Stearns. And what happens moving forward is all about whether he stays or goes. And for him to say, not focused on the trading deadline, it should be your Christmas. It should be the 4th of July. It should be everything to you, because this is where you get a chance to correct all your errors, all your mistakes. This should be what he's consumed with by now. But he's so convinced this roster actually works, guys, that he's going to double down on it. It is his today's press conference was basically him introducing the media to the fact that this is his mistake, this is his problem, and we'll see if he's going to have a chance to correct it. And now it's just about whether Steve Cohen is going to believe in it or not, because they are in this mess because of him. I don't think there's any other way around it.
Peter, I think he's on borrowed time. And I think it's amazing that even when asked about the roster, which he probably has to be careful because you know you're going to lose the room even more now, but for him to say that, this roster you put together and said that the roster this year will be better than the one we ended the season with last year, and he said the evaluation's still ongoing for this team, that felt like one of the most disingenuous things he could possibly say. First you say it's my fault, and then you say, we're still evaluating whether or not this is a crap roster. Like, I don't – this feels like a guy, A, who's got a ton of guilt because he had to fire somebody that's a good man, and B, knows he's on borrowed time.
Yeah, I think all of those things are true. I don't think he's lying about the fact that he hasn't considered stepping aside. He probably hasn't. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep going. But one of the hard parts with his job is, like he said, you brought in a guy. You may be the reason that guy is failing, and you still have to turn around and fire the guy because you're not volunteering to give this job up. Because David Stearns, who came in here as a commodity, his value, if he were to step aside now, and I appreciated the question from Gelbs, but like if he were to step aside now, he's leaving with hugely diminished value to wherever he's going next. He wants to see this thing get turned around, but he also knows perfectly well what's the likelihood of anything happening over the next 4 months, 3.5 months that's going to change that. So it's one of those things where you listen to someone talk, and at a certain point, as Anthony and I were joking, it's just words being spoken now because something had to be done. It was done. Not quite sure how it's going to get better, but we're going to hope it gets better.
You know what I didn't like? And I never advocate lying, but I think sometimes bending the truth could be helpful in a position that he's in. Just own the fact you fired Mendoza. Own it. Don't. Did Steve Cohen make it? No. Everything's a collective. Everything is a collective, so nobody ever has to stand forward and say, "I'm the guy that did it." Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you have felt a little bit more respect for the guy if he said, "No, I fired Mendoza"?
Yeah.
And even if you didn't want to lie and say it was a collective, say it was a collective, but my vote was to let him go. Right? Because now it feels like I don't know. Now, did Steve make you fire him? Did you all get together and say, what should we do in like a panic meeting and say, well, we got to throw some chum to the media, so let's let Mendoza go? To me, you want to show that you're in charge. You're the bulldog. You're the guy that's going to be able to fix all these problems. I mean, take ownership of it.
This is how you do that, though. The owner comes to you and say, after last night's abomination, right? We showed a little fight, still lost. And probably you have a conversation at the end of the night where he goes, we got to do something. Well, I don't know. There's really not a lot we can do. There's no trades to be made out there right now. It's not. Well, then we got to do something. So we got to let Mendy go. We got to do something. We got to shake the room up. And then you're saying, I know what that means, because that was the only thing. That's why, like when asked why didn't he do it sooner, it was because then he'd have nothing left.
Yeah, but
what's next? So to me, I do believe this came from ownership, and I believe he said, "All right, if that's what you want to do," and that's the collaboration. There's your collective decision. Owner wanted it, and I said okay. But I don't want to say the owner wanted it because now it's on him. But so I have to say we both decided this.
Right, but
that's what I think happened here.
But he gave a clearer picture on why he didn't let him go early. He thought there was still time, that they could still turn it around.
Come on.
He owned not firing him 30 games in, but won't own firing him now. I just found that it could have been.
Here's the thing, Don. At least he met him today and did it face to face because he didn't have the courage to do that and the respect to do that to Buck Showalter.
That's right, absolutely. But to me, I just think this is all. It's a press conference announcing the firing of Mendoza, but it's not really, to me, addressing the issue.
Of course not.
And now the issue is clear. Now the issue is clear. Now it is all on him. So I thought maybe there was a chance that Green could, have a good second half, maybe part of it. No, it's all evaluating the problems in that room, and then eventually they're going to come up with a manager. They're going to have a search. My theory is it's probably got Beltran. Beltran probably doesn't want to take over. Why would he? Why would you want to take over today with a team that's 13 games under 500 in complete disarray, in last place? Give it to me during the offseason when I see what it looks like ahead of time. But even if that's not the fact, it's still he's not a part of the future in the sense of being the manager of this team. He is part of the future of what you think will be a rebuild, but the question is, will there be a rebuild? Or will it just be a doubling down of this roster in hoping to tweak what's wrong? I don't see a championship team in any kind of future here. I don't see any of their young players contributing at any kind of a clip that makes me believe there's a great future here. I mean, McLean has not looked great.
Well,
here.
He could be the victim of what's happening around him right now.
Yeah, he could be the
I
victim
hate
of that. Right.
But when he said, Don, when he said that he feels, as this is, again, the answer to the stepping down, he feels like, we've laid the foundation of future success. I would have followed up with, give me that evidence.
Yeah, well,
I feel like the media did a great job in grilling him with the right questions, but follow-ups, which maybe we're missing them now, I don't know, but follow-ups are simply, can you just provide some evidence of why you feel like there's a foundation of success here? Can you give us specifics? Because he gave no specifics in trying to defend anything that he's done. All he has said is that we feel like, we put together a good roster and they're just not playing up to potential, which is, by the way, the passive-aggressive way of saying, let's blame the players for why the manager's fired. And that's a problem he's going to have to deal with, which is why Andy's in there. Because he needs eyes and ears in that room now. That's what he needs. Number one, you're not finding somebody to be a manager, an interim manager in the middle of a season. That's not happening. When he's not finishing, when he finishes the season, he's no longer the manager. So you bring in somebody that is an ally, that is in your front office, who's going to be eyes and ears of what's going on in that room so we can make better decisions going forward. And that should include trade deadline. The message he should have sent was, and now my focus is solely on the trade deadline because we got to fix this and we're going to watch things now closely these next couple of weeks because I got some big decisions to make. You want to shake a room up, you start putting stuff like that out there.
Yeah, I don't think he believes the roster is as big a problem as we do. And to me, that's a problem.
Well, so what could it? Then what is it?
That's what I think he's putting Green in there.
I know exactly what the Mets' problem is.
That sounds like a great tease.
I brought it up yesterday, but I can go even deeper into the conversation today, and I defy both of you to disagree with me.
Love
and
it.
anybody else as well.
Challenges.
800-919-3776 to get the calls going. We already got calls coming in to react to this right now. So, did the wrong guy get fired today? That's number one. Number two, what is the one problem, if you can find it, the most critical issue with the Mets right now is what? I will fill in the blank, see if you agree with me. We'll get to calls, that conversation, and more. Fraud Alert Friday. What a perfect day for it.
Yeah.
Fraud Alert Friday coming up as well. Your calls, plenty to get to today, of course. Peter, do you have something for me here, though?
I do.
But
are you interested in hearing about it?
You can always just
wait.
Tell us on the other side.
No. Well, it's very important, though, so I'd rather say it. Because
let's say it now, then. Get it off your chest.
I have to because it's the biggest stage in the world, all right? And FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Could have happened to you last night. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21 plus and physically present in New York. For help with the gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Want to earn extra revenue for your business? Amazon Hub Delivery is looking for local business owners to assist with deliveries. When you become a partner, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area on a schedule that works for you. With each package delivered, you'll gain extra revenue and exposure for your business. Plus, Amazon Hub Delivery makes it easy to get started. There's no upfront cost, delivery experience, or long-term contracts required. Sign up to learn more at amazon.com/hub delivery. That's amazon.com/HUB delivery.
Greatness isn't given, it's earned. On June 27th at Barclays Center, 2 undefeated stars step into the spotlight for boxing immortality. Jaron Boots Ennis versus Xander Zayas, battling for the unified WBO and WBA World Super Welterweight titles. Only one leaves with the crown. Witness the pursuit of greatness, live at Barclays Center, Brooklyn, June 27th. Final tickets are available now at Ticketmaster.com.
D'Agostino, Law Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates. Did you know Social Security takes money out of every paycheck you earn, paycheck after paycheck, and you're not supposed to touch that money until you're 67? What if you can't work? What if you need that money now? The system is challenging and most people get denied. That's a fact. D'Agostino & Associates has the experience to win, and we win a lot. If you filed for Social Security disability benefits and were denied, let us appeal. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. Bite back means fight back. 1-800-248-3222. We'll fight to get you paid. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and handles Social Security disability claims and appeals. Remember, if you've been denied, call us first. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates. We win a lot.
And now it's time for traffic. Here's Brandy Scott.
Hey there, guys. Good afternoon and happy summer Friday, but not a happy ride on the Staten Island Expressway westbound, heading over to the West Shore. Just a slow crawl there. You're backed up across the Verrazano into Brooklyn. Not moving much on the westbound belt from Flatbush Avenue. Mets are home tonight at Citi Field. It's also fireworks night. That brings a bigger crowd. A little bit bunched up at the Whitestone Bridge heading across the Upper East River from the Bronx side. All of your purchasing outbound, George, already terrible. Not even the Henry Hudson going to help you out. Cross Bronx westbound, jam from White Plains Road on through. Inbound, George, still have some road work on the upper deck, going to run you about an hour from all approaches. Lower level, that's about a 30 to 40-minute ride. Outbound, Lincoln, your best bet at 15 to 20. Outbound, Hahn, already close to 45. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit MAD.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
All right, Don Hahn, Rosenberg, we had tons of calls to get to at 800-919-3776. But before we do, as David Stearns had just addressed the media, he got grilled, and it was the right thing. He deserved every minute of it. He earned every minute of it, I should say, as Carlos Mendoza has been fired as Mets manager, interim Andy Green in place. He's already made it clear Green is not going to be considered a long-term solution at manager. It's just for now, likely to the end of the season, and then they'll reassess everything at the end. And I think when they reassess everything, it includes the general manager spot. But with that in mind, when you ask how do you fix the Mets? What's wrong with the Mets? What's the issue with the Mets? I said it yesterday. I'm going to repeat it. It starts right there at that podium. They don't have a foundation at all, this franchise. There's no bedrock. There's no core. And when I say that, I mean Who's the leader? Who's the standard bearer? Who's the person that upholds, this is what we're about? And that's not there. And Stearns is the example of it. The owner is not a true baseball guy. He's a new owner in the sport. Was he a fan? Fine. But he doesn't really have that personality about him, that magnitude about him, that he walks into the clubhouse and everybody's like, okay, the boss is here, right? So then you look to your president of baseball operations, which is the highest position you can hold in the organization underneath the owner. And you would think maybe that's the guy that has that, the presence, the voice, walk in the room and everybody stops. But he doesn't have that either. He doesn't have the ability to communicate with players or talk at their level. They don't respect him. He's a numbers guy. He knows it deep down. So he doesn't bother ever, A, challenging a player, or B, confronting a player, or just walking into the clubhouse when things aren't going well and saying, what's going on in here? And having conversations with the guys I just gave a lot of money to, the guys that I believed in to build this team. None of that doesn't exist. The manager, in his own words, our players love Mendy, and Mendy deserved to be loved. They loved him, but did they respect him? Could Carlos Mendoza have those conversations? Could he be the guy that confronts the clubhouse when you have 6 errors?
Well, we already said, Alan, we already knew. I mean, listen, I'm not saying we can put it all on him, but we know that he was not able to really make any headway in the Lindor Soto situation, which is ultimately on him as well.
Day one. Thank you, Peter, because that's the last thing I was going to say, is that day one of this season, that's the red flag. That moment during introductions where everybody else was dapping up and hugging, and your 2 highest paid, biggest stars barely said hello to each other. Day one. And that's when, as manager, or even as president of baseball operations, this is my freaking team. We got a problem. That didn't look good. I don't like that. We need to fix it, and we need to fix it right now and figure it out, because it's a long season, and we can't have this. Because if you two clearly have a disconnect, this whole clubhouse will be disconnected all year. No one ever took the reins on that. So what the problem is with the Mets is simply they have no foundation of leadership at all. And you can't build anything sustainable or successful on a weak foundation. That's my take. Disagree or agree?
You're not wrong. The only pushback I would give you is that kind of baseball's at fault with this. Because it's the analytics that tell you there's no such thing as hot, there's no such thing as clutch, and you wonder if they even think about leadership. You take a look at the Yankees, the gold standard, right, of being a consistent winner. Who's their leader? Their leader's Aaron Judge.
Yep.
He's their judge. He's their leader because he's the best player on the team. He's an historic player. That's what makes him a leader. But when you're a team that doesn't really have that guy, Soto is supposed to be that guy, and the stats show it, but he's not built to be that kind of. He's been here for 5 minutes, and the only reason he's here is he got sweets that the Yankees weren't going to give him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a merc.
Okay.
All right? Lindor, can't stay on the field this year, always gets off the slow starts. When he was the leader of the team in 2024, he was. Why? Because he was among the best players on the team. Pete Alonso, that just wasn't his thing either.
But Alonso, at least, but to be fair, Don, from what I know, from what I understand, you're right. And Lindor was playing well. The Mets had their run late that season, and obviously it carried into the postseason. And there was some kind of good energy around Lindor that guys attracted to him, and that team sort of had something special going. But don't think for a minute, though, that Alonso and Nimmo, while they might have been a little outside that clique, did also hold each other accountable. As goofy as Alonso was,
I agree.
Like if Jeff McNeil was bristling about the fact that, hey, we might have won the game, but I was 0 for 3, Alonso and them would look at them like, hey, are you worried about you or the team's success? They held it. You know why? Because they all grew up together. They all knew each other. They've been around enough together to be able to do that. So for me, it still existed in some ways, even though it wasn't traditional, right? It wasn't. But Judge, we've seen him call guys out. We've seen him go to Jazz and say, we don't do that around here. We've seen him talk to young players about the right things to do. Somebody that's there that says, this is not our way. The Mets don't have that guy.
Now, I was going to say that, listen, Alonso started to become a little bit more of a leader, but these guys were all shown the door, and their speculation, the reason they were shown the door is they didn't get along with Lindor. We got to make the guys that are under contract forever happy. Remember, the general manager of this team doesn't like to give out long-term contracts. He didn't give the contract to Lindor. He didn't give the contract to Soto. But these guys aren't going anywhere. And now there's rumors that maybe they'll bring in Albert Pujols. Why? Because he coached Soto during the World Baseball Classic. All about keeping the guys that are under contract long-term happy, and then the guys that are short-term contracts, show them the door. There's no conversation about leadership or continuity. I don't think that's in the ballywick of anybody that worries about the analytics. Yankees are analytically driven. The reason Judge can do those things is because he's the best player on the planet. Unless you're the best player and want to do that, it's not going to happen.
Well,
Soto doesn't want to do it. Lindor's not. Lindor's got his issues. So, but they don't think about these things. That's
Donnie,
the problem.
All right, and there you go. So if I'm Steve Cohen or anybody close to him, and he's now right now, and he's been in somebody's ear that's not in the organization about like what's going on with his team because he needs help. Because there's got to be a little part of him already, if not a bigger part of him, that realizes, this guy Stearns, I don't think he's it. And if he's not, I got to figure it out. Somebody's got to be telling him, listen, Steve, you still need some people that can be leaders, and you don't have any. You got to find that. And maybe it's got to be your manager. And could that be a Beltran or a Pujols? Maybe that's what it is. But somebody, it doesn't have to be a player. Somebody, though, has to be someone that is willing to challenge people when they're not playing up to their potential or acting up to their potential. And that moment on opening day, well, that was a bunch of that.
Right.
I'm not going to say, but you know what I mean. There's no way that in my organization,
Right out of the
there's
gate.
no way we're doing that on opening day.
Of course not, but nobody can talk to Soto when you're giving the guy a suite and giving him a 15-year contract. That's the problem with baseball nowadays.
Where's he
the
going,
players
Don?
run the show.
No. Why can't you? Where's he going? Where's he going?
Well, he could go somewhere in 5 years when he can walk.
All right, fine.
Well,
then let him walk.
I'm just telling
That's
you.
ridiculous. So I'm selling out my organization because I'm afraid of losing a guy that I've got for 5 years.
Well, tell me I'm wrong. Because the point is that Lindor's probably somebody that wants to be able to, get Soto on board. Can't do. Why do you think there's a rift between those two? Lindor's the leader. Soto goes in. All of a sudden, Soto neuters Lindor, completely neuters the guy. So now one of your leaders is out. The other leader you let walk in Alonso. Tell me they're not catering to Soto. The Mets, with all the money in the world, had to give a suite to get the guy to come here. And now you're talking about possibly hiring Albert Pujols. Why? To appease your best player.
Or to get
so
him
how
under
can I
control.
possibly lead? Let's say I'm a big tough guy, and I decide to go in there and lead Juan Soto. If I don't have the organization's back, then I can't be a leader of a team. If he's going to win every face-off because they're gaga over keeping Soto happy, how am I supposed to have any kind of leadership? I could walk in there and be the king of New York and bat 500, but if I'm not allowed to talk to Soto, where's my leadership? If I don't have the back of my manager, my general manager, and my owner to maybe go to Soto and say, sit down, shut up, this is my team, and then lose that face-off because management doesn't have my back, then I can't lead.
Maybe that's why you bring in a Pujols, because you say, I need to make Soto, who's serious about the game, who I can't lose, because if he doesn't like what's going on around him, you could see him get disillusioned, and that looks like he is. He's kind of disconnected because, look, wouldn't you, like Don, you, Peter, you guys are elite talk show hosts, right? If you went, if you got to some other station or some other shows, and they put with you guys that like aren't really that serious about it, don't really try, maybe not that good, wouldn't you get disillusioned? Wouldn't you be like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I working with? Like this show's going nowhere. You'd be disillusioned. So instead, I bring in somebody like a Pujols. Now I know you're connected to Soto. And now I make Soto feel a little more like empowered. Like, all right, I've got a guy now in the manager who's got my back. I start to kind of like become a bigger presence and let everybody get attracted to me as a worker. He's not a vocal leader. He's never going to do all that stuff. But if you're going to pay him all that money, I need to get everything I can out of him. And if that means empowering him a little more with a manager, A, that I can trust, but B, that can be the leader that I need because he can't, maybe that's the direction you go in.
Well, if that's the reason you're bringing him in, or you're bringing him in just to make him happy and just embolden him even further to not be bothered with anybody.
Well, that's fine. As long as he performs and the manager can be the guy that handles the room, then I'm good. But this right now, where there's no leadership, that ain't working. It's not working. All right, we got tons of calls. So we've got our take on this. What's yours? 800-919-3776. We're going to let you Met fans just have it out right now because this is your time. You heard the media. They took on David Stearns. They grilled him. He earned that. How do you feel? Let him hear it. We got your calls coming up next. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Speaking of questions.
Buster, I mean, Volpe hasn't kind of blossomed into what they expected. Thank God for Paul Goldschmidt, but now, I mean, at third base.
And he actually cannot end it with just a defined question.
Here's the thing for me. Drove me crazy last year with the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan. But do you think they do both, or do they prioritize the pitching over maybe some help at third base?
Maybe we taste real true torture.
That'll teach them.
Yeah.
If you do that and it truly takes the next step in terms of being a mental block, you end up with something like this.
What happened? I don't know what happened. But why Bregman not back?
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
The 2026 U.S. Open Tennis Championships are back, where the world's greatest city meets the world's greatest tennis players. Fan Week begins August 23rd. Experience the Mixed Doubles Championship on the 25th and 26th. And the U.S. Open Singles Championship starts Sunday, August 30th. All tickets on sale now at usopen.org. The U.S. Open. Spectacular awaits.
Calling hard seltzer lovers. Searching for the tastiest seltzer? Look no further. Neutral Vodka Seltzer is absolutely delicious. Made with real vodka and real juice, Neutral keeps it tasty with every sip. With flavors like peach, orange, strawberry, and pineapple, there's something for everyone. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2026 Anheuser-Busch. Neutral flavored vodka and carbonation. 4.5% alcohol by volume. St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Hey, soccer fans, join R.J. Santillo, Ray Santiago of DiPietro and Rothenberg, the great producers, this Monday, June 29th for a watch party presented by Radeberger Pilsner. Watch the 4:30 p.m. match in the how do you say this, please? Don, you've been doing this, Reed.
Radeberger.
Something. Radeberger. What's the
next word?
The Bowery? What is that?
Oh, the Ainsley.
The Ainsley?
Yeah.
The Ainsley.
Yeah, the Ainsley Bowery. Yep.
I don't know the Ainsley Bowery, so I
didn't know it either, I guess.
Yeah. The Ainsley Bowery is on the Lower East Side, for those who don't know, like myself. Can't wait to check it out now. Enjoy the Pilsner perfection since 1872 from the first German Pilsner. Come out, grab a cold Radeberger, and join the energy with ESPN New York. That's R.J. Santillo, Ray Santiago, live at the Ainsley Bowery, now that I know it well, this Monday, June 29th, brought to you by Radeberger Pilsner. Guys, tons of calls. Let's get right to them. 800-919-3776. Met fans all wanting to talk about the Mets move today. Carlos Mendoza fired. David Stearns says no interest in stepping down, still believes in the team, believes he laid a foundation of success. Andy Green, front office executive, will take over for manager the rest of the season. Is not considered, though, a potential managerial candidate. With all that in mind, the calls do we go. Kevin in Queens will start us off.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for taking the call. Been listening to the station all day. I mean, you guys are a great station. Everybody's been hitting it on the head ever since the news came out. All the talking points have really been really 100% on mark. Stearns got to go pretty much. We all know this. It's his fault. He constructed his roster. Hasn't really been successful. I mean, even 2024, we need a magical run to, turn it around to make the NLCS, right, to get to the NLCS. And then it's been nothing after that. But one thing that you guys spoke about that I really want to touch base on, right, and people aren't really saying what it is, right, is the Lindor-Soto thing, right? And it's made to seem as if Soto is the bad guy, right? And Soto isn't the bad guy. Soto wants to win, right? Lindor doesn't seem like winning is his number one thing, right? Great player. He's changed the culture. Many Mets have come in, Pedro Martinez and the likes to change the culture, right? He's just not a winner. You guys talk about this, right? Like, certain guys in certain sports are just not winners. Great players, he's not a winner. That's the rift. And if that's the rift, I'm cool with it. I've been saying it. Lindor got to go too, right? Maybe it's a big contract. That's the rift. I don't think that's the problem. The problem, Alan, you hit it on the head. Consistency. We don't have a leader. We don't have a foundation. And if they want to do that around Soto, then go ahead, because all he wants to do is win. He wants to take his $750 million to the bank and win and bring us a ring. And I think we got rid of the wrong players. It should have been Lindor. Alonso should have been tapped. Nimmo should have been tapped. Right? These are foundational guys that we developed that cared about winning and maybe weren't as vocal. Right? Lindor's a bigger star. We got rid of the wrong guy. And Mendoza should have been fired. But whatever. Stearns is next. He's got to go.
Well, I'm not to defend
after next year.
Kevin, just drop the mic there when you said Lindor should have been the one that they let go. Do you agree with that, Don?
Well, yeah, but good luck trying to get rid of him. I mean, the reason he was able to get rid of Alonso is because his contract was up.
Right.
Nimmo, McNeil, those were easy movable pieces. You can't move. The two guys you can't move don't get along. So what do you to defend Stearns on this? What is he supposed to do? I'm sure he looked at Lindor and said, I don't think this is going to age well either, this contract. He had his worst defensive metric last year. Always gets off to slow starts. Now, I'm not going to go as far as the caller and say he's not a winner and Soto's a winner. One guy's got one World Series when he was 18 years old, and the other guy was part of the reason why the Mets were able to go as far as they were able to go a couple of years ago. But if you want to get – who's going to take Lindor in that contract?
But you never know. There's always somebody that's willing
we don't
to do
know.
a
He
deal.
didn't try.
You might
I'm sure he just couldn't move him.
You think he tried? Okay. All right. Well,
I don't know. But how are you moving that contract?
No, I understand. It's a massive contract for a player that this year has been hurt way too much. George in Manhattan continues. George.
Hello?
Got you, George. Go ahead.
Oh, hey. Oh, thanks for taking the call. Can I just piggyback on what the guy said before about getting rid of Lindor? Like, I find that's a little strange to me because I understand. I mean, to say he's not a winner and the only reason they even got to the postseason last year, I know was the run was because of him, and the only reason they got that far in the playoffs was because was on his back too. So like getting rid of Lindor, like I understand that people think they don't get along with each other, and I get that. But the main thing really is the roster that was put together. I wasn't a huge fan of what they did as far as like the Roberts thing and the Polanco thing, but because we always knew those guys were injury prone. So it's like you could argue with what he did as far as putting those guys together, bringing guys that don't stay on the field and letting guys walk that stayed on the field constantly. But the truth is, with guys like Alonso, Nimmo, and even McNeil, when they were on the team, the Mets never really won. They won games, but they never won. The Mets never went to back-to-back playoffs. The Mets never even made a World Series with them.
But let me ask you this, George.
And that's the one thing I said. Yeah.
I get the point. I totally get the point, and thanks for the call. But the one thing that I will ask, and Don, jump in here, Peter. You guys have seen enough Mets baseball the last couple of years. Were those guys the reason why they didn't win at a high level? Were they why? Like, would you point to them? Well, because he wasn't good enough, and he wasn't. Like, Alonso produced. Nimmo produced and was a hustle guy. Was his skills diminishing? Yes. But was he like a reason why they weren't winning?
No, but again, it just came down to who could I move and who I can't. I don't think he loved the roster at all.
Clearly.
But, and the caller's right. This team went to within 2 games of the World Series, added one of the best players in baseball, and took a huge step back.
And got worse, right.
And that's why I was kind of in favor of like, hey, if you want to blow it up, fine. Because these guys haven't won anything, and they took a step back. But this can't be the pivot. 13 games under 500 midway through the year. I was for maybe making some changes. I wanted to keep Pete, but if you felt that maybe McNeil and Nimmo freshen things up a bit, getting better defensively, remember run prevention, all that, none of that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as you maybe wanted to make changes, and maybe there should have been changes, the changes were a complete and utter failure. They haven't prevented runs. They haven't won games. His philosophy with the pitchers that I agreed with at the time have blown up completely in his face.
Nope. Yeah.
None of these guys have really worked out, or they've gotten hurt. So I think both could be true, Peter. Maybe there needed to be a change, but the change was catastrophic.
Listen, if you decide to let go of someone who, granted, was going to cost you some money, but also clearly, let's not pretend, in spite of his representation, let's not pretend like Pete Alonso was not going to play ball with the Mets. We know Pete Alonso wanted to be a Met.
Correct.
He would have been a career Met, no question. If you are going to aggressively move on from a beloved homegrown guy who's responsible for the best moment in the team in the last decade, it has to pay off. It has to. Like,
and it has to lead to a player. Think about this. It has to lead to a player that can replace him. And what they did was try to get Cody Bellinger. That didn't happen. They tried to get Kyle Tucker. That didn't happen. And instead you go with a guy that never played first base before and always gets hurt. So that didn't work out at all. So this whole offseason that was supposed to be out remaking the Mets ended up being destroying the Mets. And now they're in a place like this right now where their fans are frustrated and they are calling in like crazy to get their comments in. 4 o'clock hour devoted to you. Fraud Alert Friday, of course, is coming up as well at the bottom of the hour. Your calls coming up next. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson.
What's up, Knicks fans? This is Josh Hart.
Knicks fans, it's Mikal Bridges, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com. That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com as Fanatics Fest NYC returns to the Javits Center on Thursday, July 16th through the 19th. The world's #1 sports fan festival puts you where sports, collecting, culture, and entertainment collide. See stars like Tom Brady, Aaron Judge, Jalen Brunson, and hundreds more, including live panels and podcasts, exclusive merch, and Fanatics games with $2 million in prizes. Go to fanaticsfest.com to get your tickets today.
Partner with Amazon Amazon Hub Delivery to earn extra revenue for your business with your business. Assist with local Amazon deliveries and get paid for each package you deliver. When you become a partner, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area on a schedule that works for you. You'll gain extra revenue, increase exposure for your business, and connect with your neighbors. Plus, it's easy to get started with no delivery experience, long-term contracts, or startup costs required. If you're interested in learning more, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and 0% APR for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends June 30th, 2026.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Plumbers, today will be a good day. You will be profitable. Your clients will be nice. No one will stand over you and tell you how to fix the thing they actually hired you to fix. You will also feel at peace after switching to Progressive, America's #1 commercial auto insurer. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 commercial auto insurer from the NAIC's 2024 National Premium Data.
ESPN New York is your home for the world champion New York Knicks. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
All right, 4 o'clock in the big city. The Mets make the move that they might have made a month ago, perhaps, but they make it now. Carlos Mendoza out as manager. David Stearns spoke earlier. If you missed it, 5 o'clock hour, we'll play you some of the greatest hits or greatest misses from that press conference. Said some interesting things, of course. But right now, it's the time for you at 800-919-3776. A lot of fans want to react. We're giving you that opportunity right now. Joe and Nyack, you're up next.
Yeah, just the one point is that we could also get rid of Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos for maybe a bag of balls and a fungal bet. That's how valuable they are to my vision of the Mets. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Well, you're not wrong. They've been given opportunity after opportunity. You know, Beatty could have taken third, but they weren't sure about it, so they had to get Bichette. But he's had opportunities and has failed. Vientos is thrown to first. I feel bad. I guess he's not a first baseman, but you did that because you got rid of Alonso, and the 3 guys or 4 guys that have played first base haven't been able to measure up to the abilities of what Pete brought you. No, there's a problem. We had some call up the kids. Well, these are some of the kids, right? That's the other thing. There's so many different fails, guys. When we talk about the roster, we're not just talking about the failed roster of the guys that are up here. It's the guy they've called up. Now, I think Ewing's been pretty solid. I think there might be a future there, but otherwise, it doesn't seem like any of the guys that they've been able to bring up have been anything great. McNeil. I think there's McLean, excuse me. I think there's something there, but the last 4 or 5 starts have not been great. We got to see the Tongs of the world a little bit, not so much so far this year, but really the only thing that can get you maybe remotely excited is the bullpen. And what Weaver's been able to do.
And Don, speaking of McLean, and not to jump off, we got a lot of calls to get to, but the Jeremy Hefner decision too.
Yeah.
The fact that you moved on from a guy that had been here a long time, a widely respected pitching coach, who the Braves even hesitate the minute he became available to bring him in?
That should have sent up a flag right there, right?
Are you kidding me? And so, these, it's not just player personnel decisions. There's some other things that were done here where you're going, what the hell is that all about?
And that's also part of it too, right? Because you change coaches in front of the manager, which usually puts the manager on notice. And then you get off to a slow start, and then you're still all right. No, I don't think it's Mendoza. Again, I don't think it's Mendoza either. But it could have been a real easy thing to let him go 30 games in. He changed the coaching staff. He was part of the failures in the second half of last year. Get off to a slow start again. it just feels like there's just grasping at straws, trying to get people to look at everything but what the real problem is.
Well, let's go to Tim in Staten Island on this point about playing the kids. Go ahead, Tim. You're up next.
Hey, guys. How are you?
What's up?
Don, nice to talk to you. I know we met at the Devils game last year.
Oh, cool.
And, no, the reason I'm calling is I've been with the Cyclones for quite a while and in their sales department. And I watch guys like Beatty, Alvarez, all these guys come up. And one of the things that I really wanted to say is that I think one of the things that the Mets need to do is they're going to hire a new manager. They need to go outside of the organization. I think too many guys are softies, not like back in the day. I mean, back in the day, my grandfather was a Yankee fan. I was a Met fan. And the only way the Mets were in first place is if you took the Daily News and turned it upside down. That's the only way that I used to get that. And so, you know, we all know the Yankees had a great farm system. And I really believe, the Mets have started to do that as well. Like I said, I watched Alvarez come up as a catcher with the Cyclones. I have his game-used rookie bat. And I said, man, if this guy makes it in the majors, I put my grandkids through college. So the reason I'm calling is that, first of all, I think if we had old managers like back in the day, they sit the guys down. Egos aside. I don't care if you're making $50 a year or $50 million a year. You don't play. You don't have the aggressiveness. You don't have the desire. You sit. And to tell you the truth, I think what Mendoza really needed to do if he had any kind of cue balls, if you know what I mean, he would have said to these guys, you know what? You don't want to play? Guess what? I'm taking, and we have enough of them. We have the Ewings and Benj and Beatty. Vientos, he should have went a year ago or whatever. But you take all these guys, Alvarez, you can put 9 rookies on the field and make those guys that have egos so big they can't fit through the door to sit down and watch what hunger is, what aggressiveness is.
Tim,
because
I
in the
appreciate
mind
it.
is...
And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Devils next year. That's just not the way the game is anymore. It's just not. I mean, the disciplinary managers, they're gone. It's over. That's not how baseball is anymore. And it's not realistic to take, Juan Soto and Lindor and all the veterans on the team and bench them. First of all, Soto doesn't deserve to be benched. He's playing great. Lindor's been hurt. But guys, that doesn't exist anymore.
You're right.
Managers are not here to get in your face. The guys that got in your face are out the door. Yeah. He could not wait to get rid of Buck Showalter when he got here. Why? Because Buck would push back. Buck would discipline his players. Analytic general managers, and they're all analytical now, do not believe in that. That's why they're all gone now. And they're all guys that with no baseball experience, a lot of them never played the game. They play the analytic game. We talk about Aaron Boone. He got into Jazz's face over the lollipop thing, but otherwise does nothing but defend his players constantly. That's what managers do now. So if Tim wants to bring in a disciplinarian, good luck finding one. None of these general managers will bring guys like that in. Disciplined players. They don't believe in it anymore. And the Mets aren't the only one. They're all that way. It's a bygone era that doesn't exist.
Let's go to Brian in Milburn. Brian, you're up next. A lot of Met fans want to sound off on this. Go ahead, Brian.
Good morning. Peter, this is for you, Peter. You know when OJ saying this, where Jay-Z say in the song, they say, I'm not black, I'm OJ. I'm OJ. And Jay-Z say, okay. It's like when you're saying the roster's good, we like, yeah, okay, whatever you talking about. You left 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. He plays 152 games and 162 games a year. Walk out the door because you didn't like him. Then you go sign Juan Soto. I want to know what family member told Juan Soto to sign that contract for the amenities. You let Juan Soto come in, who's not a leader, and be this team, and then Cohen comes out in the beginning of the year. Oh, there's no captain. What is going on there, y'all? I don't understand.
He's got a philosophy. He doesn't like to give long-term contracts. But the funny thing is, right now, your 2 best players are in long-term contracts. Do you realize that based on everything that he's done since he's been here, I don't think Stearns would have signed Soto. He certainly wouldn't have signed Lindor.
I agree.
because he did not. It wasn't like he didn't like Pete. I don't think Pete was exactly the type of player he loved at first base, but he wasn't willing to give him a 5-year contract because he thought it would age poorly.
And the defense. He also remember the whole thing about his defense, which I thought he received the ball well on some throws. Like I thought he got better and better at that, but his obviously not that he had a ton of range at first, but he wasn't. Yeah, he just wasn't athletic enough at first base to handle defense, and they felt like, again, the run prevention aspect of this whole thing was something that was supposed to be fixed. And then you go get a guy who never played first base before.
But he would have been able to live with the lack of defense at first base if Alonso was willing to sign a 3-year contract.
Oh, I see.
But at a 5-year contract, no, that would age poorly. How do you think Lindor's contract's going to age? How do you think Soto's contract is going to age in year 13, 14, 15? If he had the audacity to think he'd be here when that happened.
Aren't there such things that like sometimes lifetime achievement awards when it comes to contracts where it's like, okay, for the first 3 years we're good. Those last 2 years are going to be basically a lifetime achievement. We brought up CC Sabathia the other day.
Yeah.
What Alonso meant to the fan base, what he has meant as a you called it, the forever Met that they never seem to have. Right, all that stuff is supposed to matter in deals like that, but
no, but you know what? Max Fried's contract is too long and will age poorly.
Yes,
but Brian Cashman thinking, but right now he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and pretty soon the Yankees are going to get him back, and they're going to have a rotation of Soto with too long a Fried too long of a contract, Cole too long of a contract, but an excellent chance to win the World Series in 26.
Yeah.
Because who has the audacity to worry about what's going to be happening 7-8 years from now? We're lucky that we're on the earth, never mind have a job.
Well, meanwhile, on the earth, we've got some weather to talk about. So it's time now for your weekend weather. It's brought to you by Neutral. So down the shore this weekend, which will be there next week, everybody, you'll have some rain tomorrow with a high of 75, partly cloudy, with a high of 78 on Sunday. So it sounds like a nice weekend. And that was your weekend weather report. It's brought to you by Neutral. Keep it tasty with Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Make it made with real vodka.
There you go.
And real fruit juice. Enjoy responsibly. And no, I have not had one yet, even though it probably sounds like that.
Everything I do is to try to keep it tasty.
Okay. I've heard you say
that's my motto every day when I get up.
You always keep it tasty, especially with the way you dress lately.
And I finished brushing my hair, and I'm ready for the day. I was like, Don, keep it tasty.
Keep it tasty. By the way, France and Norway just started the second half. Dembele for France. The old hat trick in 32 minutes of the first half.
That's a goal every 10 minutes to you and me.
That's freaking insane, dude. They're up 3-1 on Norway.
But
right,
the
Peter, with the
Norwegians go
World Cup
crazy in a
update.
Met game. How are they doing in an actual game where their country's playing?
I know.
Next up, we go to David on the east side. What's up, David?
DHR, great to be here. I'm a Yankees guy, so I want to provide a dispassionate generic baseball fan take. I don't hate the Mets. I don't love the Mets. I'm looking at this dispassionately. I had called in during the offseason when Pete Alonso had signed with the Orioles, and I said to you guys it was a huge mistake by Stearns. Don said, well, yeah, but maybe, but let's see how the team does first. I'm a slave to winning. Fair enough, but here we are. The Mets are a dumpster fire. The fans at City are chanting Pete Alonso's name.
Yep.
I don't think it's a coincidence that he's the outlet that the frustration is going towards. I understand not passing judgment on the team until you see if the team wins. You guys are professionals, I get it. But I'm a sports radio caller, so I can say whatever I want. The red flags were all there in the winter. Stearns didn't like Pete's defense. Okay, but then you signed Bo Bichette to play third base. He's a terrible defender anyway, and he never played third. He didn't think Pete would stay healthy, but he's been the most durable right-handed hitter in baseball. Always good for 35 to 45 home runs and an 800, 850 OPS. Always plays 162 games. You said Stearns didn't want to lock into a long-term contract. Okay, but he's only signed through age 35. If you can't sign an elite, homegrown, forever guy through his age 35 season, if you're afraid of that, you shouldn't be a major league GM. This isn't rocket science. Don, you had said months ago that for whatever reason Stearns didn't like Pete. I agree. But why? Doesn't he realize that Pete was his insurance policy, that the fans would always at least be there to see Pete Alonso, and that if he made this mistake, it would come back to bite him? So here we are.
Hey, the reason I took that tack, David,
Thanks,
is
David.
I don't want to live in a world where I go on the air destroying a guy, and then he turns out to be right, and then I'm like a few months later going, oh, I was wrong for that take. I was willing to say, all right, this is his job if he thinks he can do better. But I always prefaced it by saying he better be right, because if he's not, I'll be the first person to kill him. And that's what I did. I just took the tact of, all right, let's see. He thinks he knows what he's doing. He thinks it's the right thing. Let's see how it plays out. We're halfway through the season, and he's had to fire a manager, and it looks like a dumpster fire. And I'll attack him for it. But I'm not going to apologize for, hey, let's see how it looked. The Bo Bichette thing, listen, that was a complete pivot Cohen move because they lost out on Tucker. I don't think he really wanted Bichette either, but he went for it because I'm sure Cohen was like, we got to have somebody here. They figured he was going to get Tucker and didn't get Tucker, so he had to make that pivot.
Yeah. And Bichette, by the way, remember, took a contract that allowed him to get the hell out of here as fast as he could. And the Mets were okay with it. But he took that contract with the thinking of, I'm going to go to big market, I'll put up some numbers, and I'll get back into free agency. And maybe with all the coverage I get, it could work out for me. And now the Mets are stuck with him.
Well, he may not
get out of that contract.
Well, maybe we'll see what happens because he's raking right now. Like, so he may end up having a great second half of the season, and maybe he will decide to test free agency. So that they might catch a break there. Because he is batting like .350 over the last few weeks. He's actually played very well. And I did think it was going to take him a little time to get acclimated to a new city, new team, and all that. If you're a Met fan, hope he rakes in the second half because then he will probably test and get out, and you'll go into a different direction. Or maybe you try to find a way to keep him. But that's why they went with Bichette. Listen, Alonso
another
was a
guy
mistake.
that's not a leader, by the way.
But
another Bichette, big name, no leadership at all.
He's a merc. He's another one of these mercenaries coming over. But listen, I'm not telling you I agree, but that's exactly why he didn't want to bring Pete Alonso back. He wanted 5 years and knew at 35, and the guy that didn't have a lot of range at first base was going to be a killer. And they could not lock him into DH because they're going to have other guys that are going to want to play DH, including Juan Soto, who is not a great defender. And they didn't want to lock up DH. That's the reason. But it still would have been worth it because I got a $23 billionaire guy sitting there that could buy out the last couple of years of his contract. I don't know what the new rules are going to be once the lockout is over, but one of the benefits of having a guy that's worth $23 billion is I don't have to worry about contracts aging poorly. But
well, let's continue the conversation. This is an interesting take from Rob in Staten Island on Mendoza.
Rob.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, so I'm going to preface it with when they tore down the core, I understood it because you ran it back for 6-7 years. It didn't work, right? But at the same time, like I don't feel like Mendoza may be getting off scot-free, but this team was playing a very lackadaisical brand of baseball. I mean, we had Vientos running through stop signs, and there was no repercussions for that. And then you're down 10-1, and you're with that Spider-Man mask down 10-1. That's just embarrassing. Like, there's no pride at that point, right?
Right.
That thing should have been down the tunnel after that happened.
I don't disagree. I said it earlier in the show. He was part of a collapse last year and off to a slow start. But don't think for a second that now everything is going to come together. I'm not going to completely have Mendoza blameless. But if you think he's the face of this failure, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think he's the face of it.
Because
like, Don, how much could he
about
have
him
done?
in 24?
We were mad when they pulled out the whole construction thing. Remember the home run, and they were down 6-0, whatever. And we said, like, that's one where he might want to go in the clubhouse and say, hey, tell you what, fellas, how about we put this stuff away till we put a couple wins together? How about we can't do that until we're over 500? Let's make a goal. You guys want to have fun? Right. Great. Do it when we're over 500. Like, you would think maybe he could do that. The problem is, as you outlined earlier in the show, it's not like that anymore, where the manager has that kind of say in the room. Or maybe he's just not built that way. It's one or the other. But there's clearly a lack of leadership in this organization, and the players know it, and the players don't have a respect for leadership in that organization because that's also evident too.
Managers are not something the modern-day ball player feels like they have to respect.
Right.
It's obvious. I mean, I'm sorry. I thought Jazz was being disrespectful with the lollipop thing after his manager said he was pissed off by it. But that's
Boone
the world
said
we live in.
But Boone said something. He made it clear. He didn't like it.
Right, but all right, he's not in the field with the lollipop, but he had to get on board the next day, right? What happened the next day?
Well, and then he
Jazz hits a home run,
and then he pulls out the lollipops and shows everybody on camera.
Yeah, and there's Boone the next day saying, Mr. Lollipop or whatever he called him, the lollipop kid, because he has to get on board because I'm sure somebody from above probably told him leave Jazz alone. So what would Mendoza? So? Let's say Mendoza talked to the guy, take the Spider-Man mask and set fire to it. We're 13 games under 500, you yo-yos. What's the matter with you? And then Cohen says, "Oh, let the boys be the boys." Then what? He's a Ken doll. He's completely neutered.
If Cohen's doing that, then there's a bigger problem in this organization. If Cohen is the one saying, "Oh, let him just do it," then there's a bigger problem in the organization, and it starts there.
All right, but who's going to win a face-off? Soto's got another 13 years left on his contract, or Mendoza, who's got one foot out the door?
You're right. You're right. Again, as we said at the very beginning, don't look too deep into the Mets' problems. It starts with the fact that they don't have a foundation of leadership. Steve in Middle Village, what's up, Steve?
Thanks for taking the call, guys. I appreciate it. Stearns is the problem. I'm not going to, go through all of that stuff. The Lindor and Soto thing, and Alan, I think you put it very well. All of you did that. There's no big guy with the organization, but Lindor and Soto, we don't know. But my gut feeling is, I think your gut feeling is that they were decisions by the owner. The big guy has to be Steve Cohen. If him and his president of baseball operations don't know that there's a problem before the season started between Lindor and Soto, they both should have been brought in either together or separately and saying, you're playing together, you're going to look good in front of the cameras, and you're going to be good in the clubhouse. He's paying the bills. That's something, and I was never a Steinbrenner fan, that's something that Steinbrenner would have done. And God bless him, but I didn't like his management style, but that's the buck stops with Cohen between this Lindor and Soto thing. That's my point. And I forgot which one of you guys, because I've been in and out of the conversation, driving and everything.
You're not benching them.
Your Soto. If you lose Soto in 5 years, that's fine. You got to win now. That's all I have to say.
I agree, but we've seen players not like each other, and let's not make this feud between Lindor and Soto the reason they're in the situation they're in. I agree with Alan that there's a lack of leadership, but let's not focus on the wrong things here. Those two guys not getting along is not the reason the Mets are 13 games under 500. It is something that needs to be addressed for sure.
But isn't everything a piece of why they're what they are?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Everything's a piece. I mean, it's not always good. It's not always 6 errors in the infield. It's different things, but it is a thing that contributes.
Well, I think it's what it is an example that there's a lack of leadership. But we've seen teams not get along with each other.
True.
And still go out there in a World Series. Keith Hernandez punching Darryl Strawberry in the face, or vice versa. I forget what it was on Picture Day. Spring training 1986, and they go on to win a World Series.
But that's an example though of players holding each other accountable. That's what that was. I think a lot of times when you see players have a rift, it's generally because one of them is trying to hold the other accountable. One of them is saying this isn't acceptable. The problem there between those two is it's so passive-aggressive that nobody knows.
Yeah,
and don't you think that makes the clubhouse kind of uncomfortable?
What's interesting, though, is I think last night was like one of the first times since the beginning of the season they were on the field at the same time.
That's a good point.
Or at least playing in the same game, because Soto, I think, was the DH. But the point is that I don't think it's really disrupted much chemistry because they one guy gets hurt, the other guy comes back, and then when the other guy comes back, the other one gets hurt. It's been crazy.
All right, well, the calls have been great. They keep coming in, so keep them coming in. 800-919-3776 because we will get back to them. You know what's coming up though? Fraud Alert Friday, and we always have to have fun with that, especially with the fact that today, speaking of frauds, there was one at the podium at Citi Field. We will, though, if you missed anything said by David Stearns, 5 o'clock, we will play back some of the most important things that he said after a session with the media where he was grilled, and rightly so. It was well done. It was a master class by the New York media, and every now and then they come through with a big day. This was a big day. Fraud Alert Friday coming up, but Anthony's got a message for all of us.
Yes, hello. Hi, everybody. Don, Alan, Peter, all of New York, quite frankly. You need to hear this. This summer, all lines lead to Champs Sports Fan Central Station, a soccer pop-up shop open right in the heart of the city, 125 West 33rd Street. This is the soccer destination in New York. Jerseys for every national team you ride with, USA, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil. Maybe you get a Dembele jersey after the hat trick.
Maybe I will.
Maybe you will. You can go over there right now. I wouldn't do it. Well, we have a show, but you could figure it out. Way more, all under one roof. If you want to gear up, rep your country, and feel the energy of the city, Champs Sports Fan Central Station, 125 West 33rd Street. That is where you need to be. And Knicks fans, didn't forget about you. They have championship gear to celebrate your team's first title in 53 years.
Love it.
53 years. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again.
Knicks in 5.
NBA championship. Yes, Knicks in 5 with you too, Don. Coming up, Fraud Alert Friday. What are the worst frauds we can come up with? We will have that for you next. Don Hahn Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. All through this tournament, the betting options on FanDuel bring you straight onto the pitch. Who will score the first goal? How many shots will each team have during the match? It's all right there in the app. And with same-game parlays, you have a chance for bigger payouts. And best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Caught with a gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hey, New York, are you okay to drive? No, really. Did you know just one drink can lower your inhibitions, slow reaction times, and reduce coordination? That single drink causes your judgment to be altered and makes it harder to track moving objects. The risk you take by getting behind the wheel is not worth your life or anyone else's. Call a cab.
Hey, I'm looking for a cab.
A ride share, a sober friend, or take public transit. The New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee is reminding you to always drive sober.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rosenberg.
Mendoza out, Andy Green, the Mets' new skipper. You wanted your pound of flesh. People were freaking out. It may not be the firing that you wanted, because that might be Stearns, but big move for the Mets right now. What's going to happen is this is going to expose the GM more. And what's next you're going to have to decide is what are we doing with the GM of this team? Are we keeping or are we not keeping David Stearns?
DiPietro and Rosenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
Right now, police are stepping up patrols to make sure drivers and pedestrians obey our crosswalk laws. Why? Because every year in New York, people are injured or killed just crossing the street. So remember, pedestrians, obey traffic signals and use crosswalks. And drivers, yield to pedestrians in crosswalks. If you don't, we will educate you on the law. And you may get a ticket, because tickets get attention, and that saves lives. A message from the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Hey, it's Michael K. I love when I get to talk about PC Richard & Son. This has been my go-to store for years now. They're local, they're family-owned, and they truly care about their customers. And you know how I love to support our local businesses. Always have. And you should too. During their July 4th sale, save big on appliances from all the top brands, up to 40% off. In fact, the more you buy, the more you save, with up to 20% in additional savings on select appliances. So do what I do and get to PC Richard & Son today.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight over at Citi Field. Also going to be fireworks night and a Pride jersey giveaway if you're getting a jump start into Queens over at the Whitestone Bridge. Bumper-to-bumper ride from the Bronx side, all because of a crash on the span heading into the Bronx. Left lane is out involving a mini school bus. That is the expressway crawling. Delays there go back onto the Grand Central in Van Wyck. No easy way to the outbound George. Not even the Henry Hudson going to help you out. Deegan northbound. Delays go back across the Triborough and up onto the Bruckner. Inbound George. Still have this road work on the upper deck. Going to run you at least an hour using 80, 95, and 46. Definitely a bit better from the Route 4 approach. Heading outbound at the Lincoln, that's about a 15 to 20-minute ride. Outbound Holland will run you 45 plus. This report is sponsored by America 250. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, they're coming together coast to coast. Get involved with live events. Visit America250.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Did you or someone you know participate in fraudulent fan behavior?
I'm a fraud with a capital F.
Is your friend a fraud?
I have been a complete and utter fraud.
Are you a fraud?
What is fraud?
Let's ask Don McGregor.
Screw! Go scratch yourself!
Brought to you by D'Agostino Law.
Oh, that's exactly right. It is Fraud Alert Friday. You know who it's brought to you by already. Our friends at D'Agostino Law.
D'Agostino.
Welcome aboard. You know there's no Fraud Alert Friday like a post-Knicks championship Fraud Alert Friday.
Or a managerial change Friday.
Oh.
Or a U.S. Coming off a U.S. advancing in the World Cup.
And after losing in a minute that maybe shouldn't have even existed, if you ask Alan Hahn.
This gives fuel to Michael's argument.
You can't have it.
Would have been Michael's open if Mendoza didn't get fired.
It's a great point. He would have 2 hours on it, screaming. And listen, we're going to get into Fraud Alert Friday. You didn't love them losing last night the way they did, but when you remember they did not start one of their starting defenders or goaltender, or goalkeeper, you feel a little better.
Oh, yeah.
So, and their offense still looked really good. I don't know if you guys saw any highlights or watched. It's just amazing to see that this team, every goal they score in 2026 looks better than every goal I've ever seen them score ever. It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. But anyways.
Fast as hell, man. Fast as hell.
And Pulisic looked pretty good, too. But anyways,
to me,
we'll
that's
get
the win. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
We'll talk World Cup later, but I do feel like that was the win out of the night, is that he looked himself. And what do you have? He had 3 shots. 1 hit the post. Some great looks.
A couple of great opportunities. Let's get to it. It's time for Fraud Alert Friday. Here's someone seeking a pardon.
Oh, boy.
I grew up in a family who supported the Brooklyn Dodgers. When Robert Moses chased them out of New York in 57, my family began supporting the New York Metropolitans because they had Dodger blue in their colors and played in the National League. My family had contempt for the American League for allowing the DH in 73. Right. God, old baseball talk is so insane.
The junior circuit.
I remember my grandfather telling me that baseball is unique and that everyone plays both offense and defense. If you pick up a bat, you have to be able to pick up a glove. Gooden could hit, he put in parentheses.
Yeah, that's true.
But more than anything, my family hated the Yankees. After my grandparents were gone and my father passed away, standards began to slip. Some of my nieces and nephews went to the dark side. Naturally, I shunned them. Then, to my horror, I discovered that my own mother had started to support the Yankees. She explained that she had fallen in love with Judge and argued that at age 90, she was too old to follow another lost Mets season. Clearly, my mother is a fraud.
Oh, no, Don.
But considering her age and the state of the Mets, I appeal to Judge LaGreca for a full pardon. If it helps, I will serve her sentence by staying loyal to this garbage fire of a team. Some guy from Oslo, Norway.
I love what?
Wow.
Yeah, he's obviously dialed in right now.
I love this on many levels.
I say no pardon.
Yeah.
Fraud is fraud. Now, she's a nice woman. I've always said Just because you're a fraud doesn't mean you're not a good person. Sometimes the right decision is to be a fraud. And for her, at 90, she's entitled to be a fraud. Let your fraud flag fly. But you still are a fraud. I cannot forgive just because of age.
Wow.
I thought you were saying no fraud, then you said there is no pardon. No.
I thought she was getting off the hook.
No.
I really did.
I thought you guys would admire that I would stand by the rules. Again, very good person. She made the right decision.
I didn't say I admire it. It made it funnier.
You didn't know where it was going. You really didn't. All right. Well, how about this? My buddy Ethan Goldstein writes in and says, Frank the Tank, not to call out another sports media company, but in the past few weeks, I've seen Barstool's Frank the Tank celebrating the Knicks championship. Frank became a Knicks fan in 2023 after decades of rooting for the Nets. This is textbook fraud, and hopefully Judge LaGreca agrees.
Well, I did not know that, but, come on, textbook fraud. Give me a break. That's exactly what it is. I don't know the circumstances. I like Frank. I'm friendly with Frank. I've taken the walk with Frank. So is Alan.
Nice guy. Yeah, sure.
And I know he's a diehard Dolphin fan and Devil fan and Met fan. I did find it curious because I always thought he was a Net fan, but he came to one of our broadcasts. We didn't get a chance to go over and say hello to him.
Yeah, he was outside the garden, for sure.
And I saw him wearing a Knicks jersey. I'm like, I don't remember him being a Knicks fan, and that's why, I guess, he became a Knicks fan in 2023. So, no, that's fraudulent behavior. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. I like Frank, but fraud.
Well, I mean,
at least in the case of the NBA.
Just like you didn't protect the old lady, you can't protect Frank. Fraud is fraud is fraud.
That would make me, you know what that would make me, Peter?
A fraud?
A fraud, yeah.
You'd be a fraud yourself. Hey, guys, big fan of the show. I grew up a Yankee fan. My dad took me to my first game at the stadium in July 2009, where I got to see CeCe pitch against Verlander. I was 7 at the time, and I've been a fan ever since. However, in 2016, I started to really like that Cubs team. I rooted hard for them in the playoffs and the World Series, and even skipped some Yankees games during the regular season to watch the Cubs. Obviously, I was a fraud. I'm not at all questioning that.
Okay.
However, since then, I've never done anything like that. I barely even watch baseball if it's not the Yankees or a rival I'm hoping will lose. I am the first to admit I was a fraud, but do I still need to consider myself a fraud after these fraudulent activities when I was 14 years old?
Wow, that's a good question. It's still very fraudulent behavior, for sure. But can you redeem yourself when you go back? Did you just have like a moment? Should you be defined by just having that weak moment? But you know what? I'm still going to say fraud because he became a Yankee fan in 2009. Guess what they did? Won the World Series.
Won a championship.
Then, you know, he got all hot and bothered by the Cubs. You know what they did in 2016? They won the World Series.
Isn't that amazing?
I was kind of back on the Yankee bandwagon, never misses the Yankee games, and, you know, they just came off a World Series 2 years ago and probably going to go back this year. So, you know what? Just own it. You're a fraud.
Yeah. Wear it.
I tried to make it work in my own mind, but you know what?
Can't.
You know what? You got to own it.
Come on. The evidence is there, Donald. The evidence is there.
Check back maybe in 20 years. Maybe the Guardians will make a run, and you'll be persuaded to go follow that. You know,
Heard he really likes the Dodgers too.
Perfect here, guys. We have a great Mets question on this day, and this was written 4 days ago, so he didn't even know where we were going on Monday. Monday was a lifetime ago. Hello, judge and jury. I come forward as a 28-year-old Mets fan.
Okay.
I've been watching every season since I was 8. One of my earliest, fondest memories was Beltran caught looking in 2006. But after all the years of watching this dumpster fire, I've reached the point where I need a break from this organization for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Case A, we have an owner who asked the fans to step up and attend more games, in which the fans responded and in return got a cubeless team that collapsed.
Oh, and you got kicked in the cubes.
Case B, in response to the collapse, our great GM decides to get rid of the heart of the team and have them replaced with soulless big money names. So now, instead of watching a collapse halfway through the year, we can just watch them be terrible the entire time. This team does not deserve my time, but I'll stick I'll check on the apps and keep up with all the news. I even drove 4 hours with my family to watch them this year since we live out of state. But I will not be watching a second of this team for the rest of the year. New York deserves better. The fans deserve better. My beautiful wife and 2 daughters deserve better than to have this garbage on the TV. After experiencing my first title, I just want to rub this Knicks championship all over myself for the summer before I shower off and lay down in the reliable stink that is New York Jets football. So, Judge, am I a fraud Mets fan for not wanting to watch them the rest of the year? Interesting.
Guys, I'm going to say no fraud. Really? And the reason I say no fraud is it's not like he's going to go, I'm going to watch the Yankees or the Dodgers on a winning team. He's just going to tap out. And I've got no problem with that. He sounds like I was just doing the math. He's been a Met fan for 20 years, first game 8 years old. So I guess he's like 28. He's got 2 daughters, spend more time with them. Mm-hmm. No, the fraudulence would be if you picked up on another team. But hey, they just fired their manager. They traded one of their pitchers. They're 13 games under 500. You know what? Time is precious. No fraud.
I got to tell you, man.
That's a good call. I like that call a lot.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, these Norwegians are really into the boat thing.
Their fans are great. Their fans were the only energy at Citi Field the other day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw one fan of theirs copping a feel on another fan who seemed to be his wife.
I can't. I need more evidence to condone that. Maybe they're married.
Well, no, they are married.
Oh,
but a feel was still copped.
Well, wait. You don't cop feels?
That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is they were looking to the camera like they knew they were on camera, and there was an intentional feel copped for the camera. That's what I'm trying to suggest.
So it was intentional copping.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were caught copping. It was a, hey, take a look at this, America. Or
I don't know a lot about Norway. Here's what I know about Norway. I know that Matt Zuccarello is from Norway.
Okay.
There you go.
I know that was the game that leading up to the Olympics, the Team USA in 1980, they finished with a tie, and that's where they had the bag skate. Remember, Alan? For like 2 hours, they had to close. They shut the lights. That was in Norway.
Yeah, that's right. That was again. Yeah.
And then what is that? It was some kids song that the kids had on YouTube about. Kenya's got lions. Kenya, we got lions. Forget Norway. It was some.
I thought you were going to go Beatles on me, and
right there is Norwegian wood. There you go. There's a fourth thing. That's all I know.
That's all you know about Norway?
That's all I know about Norway. So all I know is that maybe that's a fun place to go, Peter.
I mean,
if you're copping a feel, looking for the camera and copping a feel with your wife, I mean, maybe they're.
And then there's Norwegian woods. Put that all together.
Is Elin Woods Norwegian?
Who?
Elin Woods.
I'm not familiar with his work.
His work is Tiger Woods' wife.
I don't. Again,
she's really good with the.
I was just trying
driver,
to prove
apparently.
to you I didn't know who that was.
That was very, very strong that you did not. I mean, is the name familiar now? Like, do you remember it now?
No.
With that story as big as it was, the name Elin's not ringing a bell.
Yeah,
nothing.
She took a golf club to the car and to him.
You don't remember? You don't remember what happened? It was a thing. A moment in time.
It was a moment in time.
Yeah,
all right, here we go.
Anyways.
It's all coming back.
This is convicted fraud fan Ramesh.
Okay.
I was convicted by Don because I was busy with, quote, gender studies during the 2009 Yankee championship run and rejoined after Judge became Mr. Popular.
Oh, okay.
Alan and Peter said that I should appeal, but I will accept the Honorable Judge LaGreca's ruling.
Very good.
Now, about my Knicks fandom. I feel a little like a fraud because I came to this country in 2002, never cared about basketball, and would always say the Knicks suck because that was the cool thing to say. I didn't care when Amari Stoudemire joined, and they were doing better. However, my best friend is a huge Melo fan since he was drafted, and he would not shut up about his favorite player coming to his favorite team. So the first basketball game I watched was Melo coming home. I was hooked after that, have lived and died with this team through the highs and many lows. So do I get to celebrate as a true Knicks fan, or am I a fraud? P.S. I think a great addition to the segment would be giving out a quick sentence to convicted frauds. Something like say a million Hail Marys or running laps or go apologize to your friends for being a fraud. Just an idea. Thank you, and let's go Knicks.
I'm not a priest. I'm a judge. This isn't confession.
You're not absolved of your sin.
You know,
You've sinned.
Yeah, I'm going to say no fraud.
D'Agostino.
He did not commit to the NBA. You never know when the spark is going to happen. All right, he came to this country, no interest in basketball, until all of a sudden he had interest. And that interest was with the Knicks, and he stuck with them. And he should be able to celebrate that championship. You never know when it's going to hit, especially for somebody who was not from this country.
And may I point out, Don, that not only did he join, all the reasons you say, but he did something that I think is always part of authentic fandom. He suffered.
He did.
Andrea Bargnani, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina. Like, he went through all that, man. Porzingis' ACL blowing up on him and then him being traded.
No, he
lived through all this.
He may not have lived through the pain that most people his age do as a Knicks fan, but he was a little late to the party.
It. He went to 7 years of it.
Yeah, he didn't go hang with a bunch of different teams and then settle on the Knicks when they were good.
No.
He
stayed around for the suck. When you stay around for the suck, you earned it. No matter how short the suck was.
Really. And that goes for life in general.
That's a great point.
Always stays for the suck.
Oh,
well, I always do. Listen, as I close out the segment, could someone please just find the Michael K. Kevin Knox dump drop? Because that's all I can think of when I hear the name Kevin Knox.
Right.
That will do it for Fraud Alert Friday.
I don't know how many people out there saw the Kevin Knox dump.
That'll do it for Fraud Alert Friday. Brought to you by D'Agostino Law. 35 years of getting accident victims and Social Security disability clients every dollar they deserve. Offices in New York, New Jersey. 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
Well, I had Norwegian Wood. That's gone now. But in New York, every block is a business. Every minute counts. And Amazon Hub Delivery lets you earn extra revenue from the business you've already run. You and your staff can deliver packages right in your neighborhood on a schedule that works for you. It's a smart way to keep your hustle going, bring in more revenue, more visibility, and stay connected to the community you serve every day. I'll give you an example. Here's Christine. She's the owner of All Breed Cat and Dog Grooming in Verona, New Jersey. Christine tells us that she loves the flexibility of Amazon Hub Delivery because she takes grooming appointments in the morning, then delivers packages in the afternoon around her business schedule. And getting started is easy. No delivery experience, no long-term contracts, and no startup costs either. So if you're a New York local business and you're ready to make your next move, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery. We've got tons of calls coming up. 800-919-3776 on the Mets. Stay with us. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
This is the Michael K. Show.
David Stearns should be ashamed of himself. His unbelievably inept way to put together a roster has cost a really good guy a job. There has to be a sense of relief when it comes to Carlos Mendoza. Why would you even want to continue to manage a team like this? An absolute joke.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Big events are bringing more riders across the region. So if you're taking New Jersey Transit for everyday trips, plan ahead. Check schedules, allow extra time, and consider traveling outside of peak hours when you can. New Jersey Transit is running additional service to help keep everyone moving. But a little planning goes a long way. Stay aware, be courteous, and ride smart. New Jersey Transit, keeping your day on track. Plan your trip at njtransit.com.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rosenberg.
Mendoza out, Andy Green, the Mets' new skipper. You wanted your pound of flesh. People were freaking out. It may not be the firing that you wanted, because that might be Stearns, but big move for the Mets right now. What's going to happen is this is going to expose the GM more. And what's next you're going to have to decide is, what are we doing with the GM of this team? Are we keeping or are we not keeping David Stearns?
DiPietro and Rosenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Pros, save more on what you need to get the job done right. Right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
There's Donnie's song. Peter, this is such a Don song, is it not?
I don't even know. I don't know what's happening.
Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, Tigers.
Forget Norway.
It's totally time.
The Mets with Andy Green now as their interim manager, because Carlos Mendoza, if you haven't joined us yet, if you have not heard, has been fired. They will open a series with a team that already fired their manager, and it worked out pretty well when they brought in Don Mattingly. That is the Phillies. Mets-Phillies coverage immediately follows us on 880 at 6:30. The Yankees, they continue their series with the Red Sox. Boy, lucky Yankees, because that was sloppy last night.
Yeah.
But Yankees-Red Sox tonight, 7:10. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cash matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly.
I think
5 o'clock hour, we will reset some of the Stearns audio. If you missed anything that he said, we'll play it for you. We do have some player reaction as well. So just stay tuned for that if you have not yet heard all the things that were said earlier today by David Stearns. Sorry, Don, what were you saying?
No, I think the other cartoon they did was the Badger song. You remember that one? Badger, 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 Badger. No? Maybe you make it fun.
Mushroom,
Yeah,
Badger.
You don't know these things?
I know that one.
That's a good one.
I stopped edibles a couple of years ago.
Snakes. You got we got next break.
It's a snake, it's a snake. The video is actually what makes it really funny. I think we lost Peter. Peter hadn't spoken or moved in like 5. I thought we lost him completely.
He doesn't know this either?
This is
You're on a part of YouTube that only a select few make the algorithm.
This is
for
an arena in Oslo or Berlin.
You heard of the dark web? There's the dark YouTube. Play these for Maya, Peter. No, these are fun.
I will.
You just
wow, that was something.
I don't know how. I think I actually discovered it. I don't know who introduced it to me, but I think I discovered it at ESPN. Like we were playing it during like breaks and stuff. I forget who it was.
It is something. It is special.
I'm surprised. I'm good job, Anthony, for knowing at least.
I knew that one. The Kenya one I did not know. I know Mushroom Badger. I do know.
Knows Mushroom Badger.
Mushroom Badger.
Yeah, they're selling that on the street now. Lawrence in New Jersey has a question for Don the judge of fraud.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lawrence.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's up?
Good afternoon.
Don, I got a question.
Yes.
I am a 49ers fan, just as one of my teams as an example. So I am only an NFC fan. If the 49ers lose in the NFC championship game, am I a fraud that I still want an NFC team to win the Super Bowl, even if it is a rival team, just because I hate the AFC?
Hate the AFC is very strong.
That's so crazy. To me.
I hate the AFC, and I hate the Western Conference.
You know what?
It's just one of those things.
How old are you?
Got to be old.
I am 42.
Oh, really?
Wow,
Young.
that is shockingly young to hate a conference.
So you're telling me
it's just
that you'll root for the Dallas Cowboys to win?
Ew.
No.
Been the harmless.
I will not say let's go Cowboys. I'm not going to root for the Cowboys. I'm just in deep down as I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm going to be like, I'm glad the NFC was better than the AFC this year if my team's not in it.
Wow.
How about them Cowboys?
No. The way that you articulated it, Lawrence, I'm going to say no fraud.
What?
For 2 reasons. Number one, like he said, he's not going to outwardly say, let's go Cowboys.
Did we get his reaction? His reaction
I did hear
was
that.
phenomenal.
I think it's a great drop, too. I think that I can live with it because I do think there's a sense of pride. You don't like the AFC. You're not rooting for the Cowboys, but a consolation prize is, hey, at least my conference won the Super Bowl. The reason I asked about your age is that's exactly what my dad would do. My dad would always root for the NFC, no matter who. And the only time he would root for the AFC if it was Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh came from the NFL. My dad was a pre-merger fan, so he looked at the NFC like the NFL.
Tradition.
So he would root for the Cowboys against the Bills because the Cowboys were an original NFL team, and he would root against the AFC teams that were like AFL teams. Like the Buffalo Bills were an AFL team. He hated the AFL.
Hated change.
So for those 2 reasons, I'm going to say no fraud because I can kind of understand it. You can't get it, Peter?
It's just like
no, I do. It just feels so old-timey.
Now, we get it, Lawrence, and thank you for the call. We do have to run. But, Don, so your dad didn't care about the basketball, right? Like the Nets weren't a thing?
No, for him, no. He liked college basketball.
All right, but he could care. All right, because I was going to say that's the thing that I would be curious if there was if he was, because they're from New Jersey, so we root for the Nets, and it's like they're an ABA team.
No, he hated the AFL. He didn't hate alternate leagues. I don't think he had a problem with the.
What do you hate about the AFL? Oh, this goes way too deep than we need to go today. But
all right, well,
this is a conversation.
There was a thing. The NFL, that was real football. That was true football. This rogue league comes in with their pantyhose wearing quarterbacks.
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is. I needed. That was my mother.
Now you're getting that
with the National League stuff. Is that like it's like watching an All-Star game and she's rooting for? I'm like, wait, but those are rival play. I don't care. We root for the National League. That just doesn't make sense. You root for rivals? It's an all-star game.
No, but
Peter's
right. It is an old-timey take because if you're older, then there was a thing between
Well,
the
you remember the
National
leagues
League and
changing.
the American League. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it is interesting. Meanwhile, the Mets have made news today. Meanwhile, in Flushing.
Meanwhile, in not interesting.
It's all going down the drain. David Stearns did talk at 3 o'clock. We took it live to start the show and reacted to it. If you missed it, we're going to play you some of the notable things that he had to say, and Francisco Lindor had reaction to Carlos Mendoza being fired as well. That and your calls are coming up. Stay with us. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN New York. Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin Modern Windows and Doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
New York City, get ready as Fanatics Fest returns to the Javits Center July 16th through the 19th, right in the middle of the biggest sports weekend of the summer. With more than 500 athletes and celebrities, every major league, and hundreds of thousands of fans for the ultimate sports fan experience. Get your exclusive merch, rare trading cards, free photo ops, and a full tailgate zone all weekend long. Grab your tickets before they're gone at fanaticsfest.com.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
I'd finally have time to reread my favorite fantasy book.
Dig deeper. We're imagining winning the New York lottery here.
Okay, I'd build my own reading nook right where the sun hits.
You're getting warmer.
The French sun. I'll buy a villa in Marseille. Wait, what's the French word for sun?
I don't know, Kathy. You're the reader.
Okay, I'll hire a tutor to learn the French word for sun, then the words to negotiate real estate, then I'll buy my own French library.
And to think you just wanted to reread a book. New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight at Citi Field. Also fireworks night. If you're getting a jump start at the Whitestone Bridge into Queens, stop and go there from the Bronx side. They just picked up a crash on the span heading into the Bronx. Still crawling on the expressway northbound. Delays go back onto the Van Wyck from the LIE. Grand Central eastbound. Some heavy pockets of slowdowns heading over to the stadium. Backed up onto the Bronx and Manhattan legs of the Triborough Bridge. All of your approaches to the outbound George are terrible. Cross Bronx westbound, not moving much from White Plains Road on through. Inbound George, roadwork picked up on the upper deck, still about an hour from 8095. Lower level, a broken down car on the span. That's going to run you about 30 minutes. Outbound Lincoln about 20 to 30. Outbound Holland 45 plus. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call USMed at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, USMed is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
5:02 in the big city, as one great man likes to say. With Don LeGreca and Peter Rosenberg, I'm Alan Hahn. 800-919-3776 is the number for your calls. We'll get to those. And if you missed David Stearns' news conference, his meeting with the New York media, that was salivating. And they were coming to him like he was just a piece of red meat. I will play you some of the most interesting things he had to say. There weren't many of them. And Francisco Lindor's reaction to Carlos Mendoza being fired. But before we get to that, fellas, we do have some breaking news from Shams Charania involving the Knicks.
Okay.
Jose Alvarado, who we remember earlier this week had a deadline to pick up his player option for next season. He asked to push it off until today. That he has made a decision. He's declining his $4.5 million player option. However, he intends to sign a new 3-year, $14+ million deal to return to the Knicks.
Yay!
This is according to sources telling ESPN. So Alvarado, who they acquired at the trade deadline, had turned into a very vital piece to this team off the bench and was a huge piece if you think about how they started using him with Brunson in the NBA Finals, and that worked famously. He has been celebrating literally ever since they won this championship. He's now in Puerto Rico. His native Puerto Rico is celebrating, has Larry O'Brien with him. And this is good news. So instead of just picking up his option for next year, the Knicks said, how about we just extend you off your current contract? And so at least you know Alvarado is one piece they are keeping off the bench. Mo Diawara is a piece they intend to keep as well. But Mitchell Robinson sounds like, we do have audio from him, sounds like he's going to explore free agency, and once he does, word is it's expected he's going to get some offers that the Knicks can't possibly match with their payroll situation. The other name's Landry Shamet. But so far, at least, Alvarado stays in the fold, and that's
a key. Alvarado's a key piece, and not just because he's a feel-good New York, Puerto Rican story that we all love.
True.
But he's also like, this was a team who needed. You remember when OG got the ball thrown at him?
Yes.
And we were just like, dude, why is this team
Desmond
laughing?
Bain. Yeah.
By Desmond Bain. As someone close to the team said to me, I thought this was well said. Prior to the acquisitions they made mid-season, everyone on this team was someone you would gladly have date your daughter. Like, hey, sure, they're the sweetest guys in the world. Mm-hmm. They needed a little bit of edge. And so you can't forget the pieces in Alvarado and Clarkson that they brought in to give the team a little bit more swagger, a little bit more edge. That's a nice one to keep if you're a Knicks fan.
Yeah, this is and listen, you take it if you're a Knicks fan or a fan of any team that wins a championship, but there's always going to be somebody that doesn't come back, somebody that you like, and especially in the salary cap era, there's always going to be a player that contributed that is going to leave, but that player still will forever be in your heart, no matter where they end up. And Mitch looks like he's going to be one of those guys that's going to go.
Yeah, we do have audio. So Mitchell Robinson down in I think it's Chalmette, right? Chalmette in outside of New Orleans.
Okay,
he went down to his hometown and celebrated. Or they celebrated him. And so the local ABC news caught up with him and interviewed him. And they asked him about his future with the Knicks and whether or not he can stay in New York and what's going to happen with free agency. And this was the answer he gave.
We can see what happens. It would be great to, try to do it, to run it back again. Try to go back to back and stuff like that. Defending champs. That's very a possibility.
So how did that sound to you guys?
Well, it sounds like if it could work out, he'd love to be back.
Right, but
there's a possibility he won't be.
Yeah. I think he also, look, and if you represent him at his age and where he is in his career, you have to test free agency and see what kind of money you can get because this is his chance to really cash in. And I hate this. The rules, it's my same argument with the NFL. If I draft a player and I draft well, why am I penalized by the system for being able to keep my player? And this is the example of it. A player like him shouldn't count against the second apron. It's my own guy. Why would the second apron? Why, if I go over the second apron to keep my own player, that doesn't make sense to me. I understand if you want to control spending. If the owners in the league want to make sure that the rich teams can't outspend everybody by grabbing every free agent, right? I understand that. But if I draft well, why am I penalized? Why does it count against me where now I'm triple taxed because I'm re-signing a guy that I drafted in 2018 who's turned into a really important player? But I can't do that now. I've said this about the NFL many years. I hate that. You draft one, I got to make a decision between two guys. Maybe I had 2 top 10 picks, and they're both up at the same time, and I got to decide which one I want because I can't afford both of them. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you're right, because I understand the salary cap. And the salary cap, everybody should be on the same floor, right? You shouldn't get any kind of distinctive, because anywhere in life, if I'm playing Monopoly with you, you shouldn't have more money than me to start the game. That's unfair. So you understand the fairness in the salary cap. But that's usually for free agents.
Yeah.
But if I'm a team that can afford to keep the player I drafted, I should be able to keep him. He should not get thrown to free agency where somebody else can gobble him up. It just doesn't seem that to me is counterintuitive. That's not an unfair advantage. What it is, hey, rewarding the teams that draft well. Right? I drafted well, and now I want to have the ability to be able to keep that guy.
Right.
The free agents I get, because let's face it, LeBron James becomes a free agent. There's going to be certain teams in certain markets that aren't going to be able to afford the pay.
I don't disagree with that.
And that takes away from the competition of the free agent. But should there be equal competition for players I drafted? Now, I guess the players will say, well, wait a minute, all right? Just because you drafted me doesn't mean that now I'm stuck here.
Well, you're not stuck. No, see, because Mitch is not stuck. He becomes an unrestricted free agent. All I'm saying is, can I compete to keep my guy? Because, for instance, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know anything. I'm not reporting anything. But let's just say Sacramento Kings. They have tons of cap space. Brooklyn Nets, tons of cap space.
Right.
Both teams that need centers, defensive centers. Say they both want to get crazy and they want to bring him in, and they give him $25 million a year, right? There's no way Mitch says no to that. So he's going to take something of that level. Obviously, as we know, with the Knicks and their situation, if they tried to match a contract like that, it would put them over the second apron, which then would cost them triple the tax and triple all the stuff, and that puts too much of a restriction on them as a franchise. So they obviously would say, we just can't do this. That doesn't make sense to me. So Mitch could say, well, I still want to go to Sacramento or Brooklyn. Okay, fine. But at least give me a chance to compete. And I can't because of this. It's my own player. Like you said, it's not like I'm going out and I'm trying to sign a top free agent because I just want to get, gluttonous and add another top free agent to my team or trade for one. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I draft a guy, I developed him, and I'm going to lose him all because of these silly rules. That doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying on that.
Well, but it's also some teams manage the cap differently. And it could stick to hey, I don't want to go into the second apron, right? And if you don't let them go in the second apron, then there still could be a chance that there are players that want to leave, but then can't, I guess, because now they got to take less money to stay. But I do hear what you're saying.
It's something that I think needed to be discussed at least here. But Mitchell Robinson's still going to be up in the air. If July 1st, when free agency begins, Landry Shamet, another one. But at least we know, according to Shams, who just reported that Jose Alvarado will be staying with the Knicks, intending to sign an extension probably on the other side of July 1st.
So as somebody that did a lot of work for the draft, meaning you.
Yeah.
I know it saved the money trading their first-round pick, but was there anybody there at 30 that could have maybe been a big man that could have helped them if they lose Mitch?
You could say, yeah, there were a bunch of names that, like of big men that you could have looked at. I'll tell you what. There was a guy, we had him at the table because at pick 53, which is pretty late in the go, there was a guy, it was Ugama Onyenso, and he's from Virginia, shot blocker, 6'11", 7'5" reach, just an incredible physical size that he has. Led the nation at Virginia in blocked shots. This is his specialty, defense and rebounding. It was originally the Rockets pick, but because of all the swaps they made, he sat down with the Rockets hat, and I said, that's the Knicks pick. You're going to New York. You're going to be here in New York. And he had, his face lit up, and he was smiling about it. And in my head, I'm going, this is the guy they'll have to develop to try to replace Robinson because they know they're going to lose him. Because a lot of the same type of stuff, and PJ Carlismo was sitting with me who had seen him, that's what he was saying to me like off air. He's just like, he's got all the skill set that you could just turn him into that kind of guy off the bench. While we were interviewing him, Shams reported that the Knicks were then flipping this pick to the Detroit Pistons. So I was like, all right, you're on 3 teams in 30, in a minute and a half. But that's one that I thought this made sense. The others, defensively, you had some guys who were good offensively, 7-footers, but there were some issues about them defensively or ability to move, especially on the perimeter, because one of Mitch's strengths is to be able to guard on the perimeter. So the answer, the long-winded answer, Don, is no. I don't think there was anybody there that I thought could have had that kind of impact other than Agneso, who I thought maybe they would give a chance to. But they didn't. They took 2 tough guards who can shoot threes. The 2 guys they did take, tough as nail kids. And they're both like very good, tough 3-point shooters. And so I think they made it clear what they were looking for when it comes to depth. They're going to try to find someone at the center position if they lose Mitch. I don't know who it's going to be, and it's not going to be easy to do, but it's going to be a major concern. Before we get back to calls, and we'll get into the David Stearns stuff and what Stearns had to say about firing Carlos Mendoza, I do want to tell you that in New York, every block is a business, and every minute counts, and Amazon Hub Delivery lets you earn extra revenue from the business you already run. You and your staff can deliver packages right in your neighborhood on a schedule that works for you. Bryant and the crew at 165 Hardware in Washington Heights deliver during their store's afternoon downtime, and Bryant says that the extra revenue from Amazon Hub Delivery helps the bottom line, and delivering has given the business more visibility and connection to their community. Getting started, by the way, is easy. No delivery experience, no long-term contracts, and no startup costs either. So if you're a New York local business and you're ready to make your next move, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery. So do you guys want to take calls or hear, replay some of the Stern stuff and also hear from Francisco Lindor? What do you want to do?
I guess we could refresh. It's been a couple of hours. Many people might have still been at work when Stearns spoke. Don't expect to be enlightened at all, or just get fired up to put your Mets jersey on and run through a wall.
These aren't days for enlightening, Don.
No, this is more of just, this is where you start to clench your fist as a fan. But right. I will say this. These are the days where the New York media really does have its moment to shine because they put him on the grill. Imagine being asked this question. Have you considered stepping aside as GM? His answer.
I have not. Why not? I believe that we are building the foundation of an organization that can deliver what we all want. I don't believe that our record on the field this year is indicative of some of the advancements that we've made in an organization. But clearly, our record is nowhere good enough.
Now, you can make the case that that's the best sound as far as the vibe of the press conference. Mm-hmm. And my follow-up would have been, well, wait a minute, David. You said this team was going to be better this year than they were last year. And to refresh your memory, they won 83 games last year. So you say that the record's not indicative, and you also said later on in the press conference that it's all about winning and losing. So I don't know what exactly it is you're looking at. That's another excellent follow-up that we talked about earlier in the show. Well, show me. All right, the record isn't indicative. Then where is it indicative? Is it the young players you called up raking? Well, like I said, Ewing's been good, but nobody has floored us with their performances when they've been called up from Syracuse. Is it some analytical number you're going to throw at me that doesn't completely represent your record? What are we with the Cleveland Cavaliers now? Are we looking at a different scoreboard than what actually exists? Is Kenny Atkins, was he hired by the Mets when I wasn't looking? Atkinson? I that's the kind of feel I'm getting. It's like, no, you guys are too stupid to understand how good we are. You guys are amateurs. You just look at the record. Well, we look and no, it's all about wins and losses, brother, especially when you told us this team was going to be better than they were last year. You're 13 games under 500. So what kind of language, what kind of game are we playing here? Show me. They talk about opening the books during the labor stuff, and we're going to find that out. That's going to be settled out over the winter. Show me, in the aggregate, where exactly this team is better than they were last year. And the answer is no, you can't show me anything because they're not. They're not even close. So when you tell me that the record's not indicative or what this team, how this team is playing isn't indicative, what else are we supposed to go by, guys?
Well, how about this? And again, these were good questions. And Stearns was asked about the players that he signed, just what you talked about, Don, how they took a team from last year. He said, no, we're going to make changes, and this team's going to be better than it was. So he made some massive changes around this team, taking away some long-term Mets, adding new players. And so Stearns was asked, of the players you signed with the team, have they underachieved, or what is the difference in this team?
I think regardless of which side of that paradigm you fall on, the end result is we have not been good enough. And we need to evaluate not only why that is, but in the moment right now, do everything we can to get our players, our roster, our team as a whole moving forward. We've talked about, why, right? Why when you go through a half a season like this with players that in the past have performed at a really high level, it's never just one thing. There are multiple things that are contributing to this, and we need to address all of them.
All right, so
word salad.
Well, it's a word, but let's say there's something there.
Okay, what do you
because they brought in an interim manager in Green that is the president of player development.
Right.
So he is going to be a fly on the wall, right? He's going to come down and kind of be, for lack of a better word, a spy that is going to manage this team. He's got no hope of staying on as manager beyond 2026. He's just there to evaluate what the problem is. Because Stearns can't admit that he brought in the wrong players, right? So he's asking him, find out what's wrong with these guys. Why aren't they playing to the level I thought they were supposed to play? And so he's trying to figure out, what is it? Is it the Soto Lindor thing? Is that a problem? Was it completely Mendoza's fault? Is it lackadaisical team? He's going to go in there and see if there's a problem. And then he's going to report back at the end of the year. And what if he tells them, no, there's nothing, this just team's not good enough? Yeah. Then what happens?
Well, then
does Cohen step in and go, okay, you're gone?
Well, shouldn't the owner also be like, the owner needs to know? But there's no way that Green walks in to the two of them and goes, yeah, you know what, these players just suck. Like, that's not going to happen. But all right, fans are mad, as they should be. Of course they should be. Fans are already tired of David Stearns.
Yeah.
Surprised that he's not the one going today.
Yes.
This could be the last days for him, of course. This could be one of the last press conferences he ever holds. But he was asked, why should fans have confidence in you?
I understand fan skepticism. If I were sitting in the fan seat, I would share that. From my perspective, what I can do and what I will do is, for as long as I'm sitting in this seat, work as hard as I can with the people around me to do everything we can to push this organization forward. And I think we're going to be able to do that.
For as long as I'm sitting in this seat.
Oh, you know, another question I would have asked, and maybe this was asked because we didn't stick for the whole press conference.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I would have asked is, would you think about possibly changing your philosophy? Right, you're going to work hard, and I'm not saying you don't work hard. I honestly, I don't think David Stearns has the Mets 13 games under 500 because he's lazy, because he's not showing up to work. Right. You know, he's playing Nintendo instead of actually going down there and doing the job. I don't believe that. I believe he's working his ass off. The problem has been his philosophy, not believing in long-term contracts, reclamation projects, finding that lightning in a bottle, right? That diamond in the rough. My biggest issue with him, it seems, is that rather than taking a chance on a guy that could maybe be great, he seems to take a chance on guys that could be good. Doesn't it feel that way? Like,
yes,
Polanco in his best year was a good player. Simeon in his best player was a good player. You know? I want a guy that potentially could be great. If you crash and burn, you crash and burn. But maybe if we're successful, can I have a great player instead of, oh, he's okay. We're succeeded. We've got an okay player at first. You know, so that would be my question is, would you think about maybe changing the way you go about this? I don't need you working harder. I need you working right.
Yeah, exactly.
Smarter.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Like, maybe you need to reassess what you're doing. All he can do, though, is point to his days in Milwaukee and say, hey, this all worked with the Bros. It's just not working here.
I know, but that team continues to win in the 2 years. Well, not win championships, but they continue to be good. And I heard Michael say this, that maybe he had help there. Maybe it wasn't all him because the team didn't drop out of the universe once he left. They continue to make trades. They continue to get better.
Yeah. Well, the players are certainly the ones. It sounded like Stearns was putting it on the players because he didn't want to put it all on Carlos Mendoza. Francisco Lindor, who's sort of the face of this franchise and de facto leader of this franchise, although they don't believe in captains. Lindor gave this reaction to Mendoza being fired.
I was shocked, and it hurts. He's a great man. He's a great family man, and somebody that we appreciate and we care for him. And it was shocking news. But obviously, this is a decision that Stearns and the rest of the organization felt like it was going to be best for the organization at the moment.
How could you be shocked as a player? How could you be shocked as a player that a manager gets fired when a team like this underperforms?
Well, you wonder now with the modern day player, were they shocked because none of them demanded he be fired? They all said they loved him.
Yep.
So maybe they thought that would be enough. Or maybe what they felt, hey, we started 9-19, so he survived that, so maybe we can, survive. You know what this is, Peter? Remember when I would lose a pick?
No, I don't remember you ever losing.
But when I would get a pick wrong when we would do our NFL picks.
You do it again.
Exactly. That's what David Stearns is saying. It's their fault.
Yeah, do it again.
I lost that bet because of the Cowboys. It's their fault.
Yeah, I did what I was supposed to do. The Cowboys didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I picked these players. I do it again. It's their fault.
Well, how about this from Lindor? What did Mendoza say to you?
He apologized for not helping us win as much, but at the end of the day, this is not on him. It's more on us, the players, that we didn't perform to our capabilities.
I like that. I like that answer a lot.
That's what you're supposed to say, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, the people have a lot to say at 800-919-3776. We'll get to your calls and a little more of what Lindor had to say about this move and more. Stay with us. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with a substitute, so you're still in on it until the final whistle. So if you're looking to get in on the biggest tournament in the world, now is your time. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right, if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with a substitute, so you're still in on it until the final whistle. On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game. Must be 21 and older and physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369.
You matter, and so does your well-being. If you're facing tough moments, struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, or substance use, help is here anytime you need it. Call, text, or chat 988 for free confidential support. New Jersey's 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here 24/7 for you or someone you love, with trained counselors who listen and care without judgment. You matter. Remember New Jersey's 988. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rosenberg.
Mendoza out, Andy Green, the Mets' new skipper. You wanted your pound of flesh. People were freaking out. It may not be the firing that you wanted, because that might be Stearns, but big move for the Mets right now. What's going to happen is this is going to expose the GM more. And what's next you're going to have to decide is, what are we doing with the GM of this team? Are we keeping or are we not keeping David Stearns?
DiPietro and Rosenberg, morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. The one to avoid right now, FDR Drive southbound over by the Williamsburg Bridge. Big collision involving a couple of cars facing the wrong way. Probably going to turn into an accident investigation. Everything was shut down. Now only one lane is squeezing by. Traffic is at a standstill there from the Triborough Bridge. Mets are home tonight at Citi Field. Also fireworks night. Slow go at the Whitestone Bridge heading into Queens. You're backed up onto the southbound Hutch in the Bronx. Then you're looking good on the expressway southbound. No issues heading over to the stadium. No easy way to the outbound George Deegan southbound, just bumper to bumper heading over to the Cross Bronx. Delays go back on to 87 in Yonkers. Inbound George still going to run you an hour for the upper deck. Lower level a 30 to 40 minute ride. Outbound Lincoln will run you about 30 minutes. Outbound Holland 45 plus. This report is sponsored by America 250. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, they're coming together coast to coast. Get involved with live events. Visit America250.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. The hard iced tea taste you know and love, but with an 8% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and brings your daytime drinking to the next level. Just look for the bright yellow cans in the cooler and get ready to dial up the fun. Big flavor, extreme kick. Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Man, I love this song. This is our me and Emma. This is our song. This is our song. Anytime it's on, she either takes a screenshot of the radio or I'll take a screenshot of the radio, send it to her. 800-919-3776 is the number. We're going to get back to calls, Met calls, especially Nick calls, certainly, because Jose Alvarado just tweeted, "I'm home," with orange and blue hearts all over the place. So he's all fired up. If you're wondering why he's saying that, is because Shams is reporting that he is expected to sign a 3-year extension to stay in New York. So Brooklyn's own stays in New York, and that's great news. And I wonder, Anthony Pusick, if a fan wanted to get like a Alvarado jersey, where could he go?
Well, listen, Alan, I'm sure they've got this here. And here in New York, you're going to have to want to listen to this one. All lines lead to Champs Sports Fan Central Station, a soccer pop-up shop open right in the heart of the city at 125 West 33rd Street. Now, this is the soccer destination in New York. You guys know. I just told you about it last hour. Jerseys for every national team you ride with. USA, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, and way more. Get that jersey before the knockout rounds start, all under one roof. And if you want to gear up, rep your country, and feel the energy of the city, Champs Sports Fan Central Station, 125 West 33rd Street. That's where you need to be. But as Alan mentioned, all you Knicks fans, they've got championship gear to celebrate your team's first title in 53 years, perhaps an Alvarado's finals patch jersey. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. 800-919-3776. What we do know is that Met fans have been calling and calling. They all have something to say about their franchise right now. Coincidentally, it's fireworks night tonight at Citi Field, which is nice. But the fireworks were early today, and Ian in Cranford has something to say about it. Ian, you're up next.
Gentlemen, how are we doing today? Thanks for taking the call.
Good. Thanks for calling.
Last time I called you guys, I was right around the Knicks-Hawks series, so thank God they took off there. Don, I got a question for you.
Yes.
When is the last time this team had a real leader on it?
A real leader.
Then who was it?
Yeah, I guess it would be David Wright. I mean, he was the captain of the team that went to the World Series. That was a long time ago, man.
So since then, there hasn't been anybody. And unfortunately, due to how Wright's career ended, there was no Strahan to OC transfer of power. It immediately fell on the kids like Conforto and Syndergaard and Harvey. And then since then, nothing has carried over. And you guys know this. Leadership trickles down, good and bad. So until they find a player or a person of that ilk, this franchise is going to be stuck in the mud. And it just is what it is.
But, Ian,
thanks, Ian.
The way baseball is constructed is that the only way you're going to be able to have true leadership is if you are a great player. This isn't like hockey or other sports where that fringe player can be a captain because he's a rah-rah guy and everybody respects his journey and he knows exactly what to say in the clubhouse or locker room to get the players motivated. Derek Jeter was a leader because he was the best player on the team. He didn't say a lot. He wasn't a rah-rah guy, but he was a great player that everybody looked up to. They loved his origin story of a kid drafted 6th overall and being a Yankee and all that stuff, and the pictures of him in a Yankee uniform, from Pequannock, New Jersey, through Detroit or through Michigan. Aaron Judge is a leader because he's the best player on the planet. They've got to find a player that's great and has the confidence to take that position. So I'm not defending the Mets. It's not like you can just go out and acquire these players. This has to happen organically. And analytic baseball doesn't allow for that because they don't look at leadership. They just look at the raw numbers. Because if they looked outside the box, they'd say, you know what, Pete Alonso's got a place here. He's a really good player. He's a homegrown Met. The fans love him. We've got to try to make this work. He didn't even think about that because all he did was look at the raw numbers. And they told him, I think I could do better, and I think I could do it cheaper. So we're asking them to find a leader. They don't give a crap about that. You have to stumble into it, right? Get a player that wants to be a leader, that's good enough to be a leader, and bang, there he is. Does anybody acquire leadership anymore? Do you ever hear any general manager at the trade deadline say, we acquired this player because he's got a good bat and he's got speed and he's a leader?
Wasn't that Simeon, though? Wasn't he supposed to come in and be a good clubhouse guy that can – wasn't that his whole thing?
But he stinks. You can't do it when you stink.
Yeah,
you certainly can't do it when you're new. Like, it's hard when you're the new guy there. You're struggling to stay on the field. You're struggling to play your position. You're struggling to get on base. You think anybody's going to listen to you?
Now, Don, William on Long Island.
Yes.
He brings up an interesting parallel with this Mets situation. William, you're up next.
Bill?
Hi, how are you guys? Yes, so this, the recent, situation with the Mets reminds me very much of the Boston Red Sox when Hahn Bloom inherited the 2018 Red Sox, who won the World Series, and then, went on to trade Mookie Betts, lost Xander Bogaerts, and now you have the Mets in a similar situation. David Stearns inherited the 2024 Mets, and even last year there was, a lot of people were mentioning dismantling the team, but you have to remember there was Jonah Tong, who was a young pitcher, had a lot of pressure on him towards the end of the season, and now we took a whole different transition. And Hahn Bloom's tenure was relatively short, so I don't know how long this will last for David Stearns, but a lot of parallels and definitely reminds me very much of the Hahn Bloom.
And Hahn Bloom was everybody wanted him, right? Because he had built up this reputation, especially with the analytics, and everybody wanted him, and the Red Sox got him. Dombrowski was out, and it really was a disaster what he did with what is a team that was every other year playing for a championship.
Yeah, it is everything that we hate about analytics. He was an analytical guy.
They didn't believe in Mookie's, the contract was big, and they moved on from it, and they didn't realize just how important he was in that clubhouse, to that franchise.
What people just fail to remember, because we all love Moneyball, that the A's had no choice but to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And to sit here and be a slave to analytics and yet still have the second highest payroll in baseball. For the Yankees to still be that analytical and have the third highest payroll. You'd almost think to yourself, why am I spending all this money if all I have is a general manager trying to save me money? So shouldn't I have a $200 million payroll and use all that saved money and put that money in my pocket? Why have a $350 million payroll and we're still going out there and pinching pennies? Like, I don't get it.
Like,
why am I shopping at the dollar store instead of Nordstrom's when I've got $23 billion?
But the thing that
and you're never going to get your fan base to understand any logic behind that when the reason you were supposedly great is that you have the $23 billion. Sorry.
But again, Chaim Bloom's whole thing there when he took over was to reset their farm system. And so the whole thing, like, we got to get more prospects. We know we're getting old and we don't have young players. And it was this whole notion. It almost feeds into what a lot of fans who don't really, and I hate to sound like this, but sometimes this is true. There's a lot of fans who are passionate about sports that have never played sports. They don't understand how it works. So they look at it as a business and numbers and all that stuff. And you say, well, we need young guys. Well, if you're really good right now, you can't worry about that. Guys are in their prime. Well, you got to get rid of them before they start falling off. So now you're telling me I'd rather be bad but have some young players that might be good versus I'm still good. I could still stay good for a couple more years. There's a lot of that goes on between not only just the analytics part of it, but it's that mentality of trying to always be ahead of the game rather than just be in the damn game.
Well,
and that's what he did up there when he went to Boston. He tore that place apart. They have never been the same since.
I'm telling you, because I think Brian Cashman's guilty of this, and I think Stearns is guilty of it too. They want their cake and eat it too, right? They have all this money at their disposal, but they want to be like, no, I want to do it my way. So nobody can accuse me of buying a championship. Nobody can accuse me that the only reason I won the championship because I was in a big market with all these finances. I'm going to prove to them that I can do it without having to give extra money and extra years in contracts.
Do the Dodgers give a rip what people say about them and all the money they spend, or do they just hang banners?
Yeah. Do their fans go, I wish this was cheaper?
I wish we didn't do it this way. Please.
Now, and the other question that I wish was asked, maybe it was, again, we didn't air the entire press conferences. Your philosophy, how much is it based on protection for what might be ahead with the labor strife? Like, are you not giving long-term contracts because you don't know what this is going to look like in 27 and 28?
I do think he was asked that during the offseason. I do think I thought that came up, and I thought he didn't really give you an answer. But I thought that did come up.
Because
it is
the only
something
thing
that's
I'm
true.
hanging on. Look, guys, the only thing I'm hanging on to is that they will be one of the teams that are in better shape than others because of the fact they're in some contracts that are easy to get out of. They're not stuck with guys that are going to not be very good for another 4 or 5 years. A lot of these guys that are underperforming don't have much left on their contract.
And
maybe that'll be a good thing coming.
That is true. You can reset. And you have to think that when they do come up with a new system, that they're going to, like the NBA did this, the amnesty provision, which will allow you to take one of your contracts that you feel is an albatross that won't work in the current system, and you can eliminate it by buying out the player, and the buyout doesn't count against whatever cap situation they're going to come up with. And so you're amnestied for one contract. And if you had to choose between Soto and Lindor, which one are you going to do?
Probably Lindor.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that
and you probably get out of that.
Maybe that's the logic. It's like, hey, if I bring back Pete Alonso and all of a sudden we're in a hard cap and I've got 4 years left on a guy and I can't do anything about
albatross contracts.
All those fans could be jumping me for giving them the 5-year contract when they knew there was going to be labor strife around the corner. Again, it's grasping at straws at this point, but maybe that could be the silver lining in all of this.
I understand. You're still believing in Stearns that he can build a team. My question is not about, are they protecting for the future? My question is, does he really have a good eye for talent? Can he build a team? I don't know if he can. I have no evidence that tells me he can.
Right? Even if he believes he did the right thing with the contracts, and maybe he did.
Okay.
Did you bring in the right players? Obviously, you thought you could replace Alonso. You did not.
Nope.
You failed there. You thought you could replace Nemo. You didn't. You thought you could replace McNeil. You didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So Diaz, he did. Considering Diaz got hurt.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a lucky break where Devin Williams is healthy, and he got Weaver right. That guy's been filthy. What is it, 22, 23 consecutive innings without allowing a run? I mean, so he hasn't been completely – he didn't whiff on everything, but most of it he has.
Yeah. Well, if he got everything wrong, he should have been fired by now. But he's not. He's still there. You have a lot to say about it. 800-919-3776. We'll finish up with your calls here. We do have ENN at 6, and then we go to the Mets after that. So we'll get as many calls as we can get in before 6 o'clock coming up. Don Hahn, Rosenberg, ESPN, New York.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Speaking of questions.
Buster, I mean, Volpe hasn't kind of blossomed into what they expected. Thank God for Paul Goldschmidt, but now, I mean, at third base.
And he actually cannot end it with just a defined question.
Here's the thing for me. Drove me crazy last year with the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan. But do you think they do both, or do they prioritize the pitching over maybe some help at third base?
Maybe we taste real true torture.
That'll teach them.
Yeah.
If you do that and it truly takes the next step in terms of being a mental block, you end up with something like this.
What happened? I don't know what happened. Why Bregman not back?
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
This is the Michael K. Show.
David Stearns should be ashamed of himself. His unbelievably inept way to put together a roster has cost a really good guy a job. There has to be a sense of relief when it comes to Carlos Mendoza. Why would you even want to continue to manage a team like this? An absolute joke.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, and I know how a serious accident can change your life just like that.
I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and I understand that with pain comes medical bills and time out of work. Let us get you justice.
This is John Ryan, the closer. For over 35 years, our family has been getting accident victims every dollar they deserve.
I started this firm for the injured so they can bite back against the insurance companies.
Our legacy is to get you justice. Bite back.
To get you paid. Bite back.
At D'Agostino & Associates, bite back means fight back. When you're hurt and they blame you, we bite back and get you every dollar you deserve. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, so call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. 1-800-248-3222. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
First, I take a sabbatical, then do absolutely nothing.
Glorious. But what? You'd win the New York lottery, then do nothing?
Well, I'd also commission a cutting-edge mobile bed, so I never stop doing nothing, even when I leave my house.
Okay, but how can you do even less?
Well, I'll spend 6 months living with a Honduran Capuchin monkey troupe to learn how to pick things up with my feet, so I never have to lift a finger again.
Oh, you'll be a hit at dinner parties. New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby
Kirby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
When's the last time payroll was the easy part of your week? With Gusto, it can be. Gusto is the all-in-one platform designed to take the hassle out of managing your team, from payroll and compliance to hiring, onboarding, and more. With Gusto, you can get back 2 full days each month with all the time you have saved. Go to gusto.com today and learn why over 500,000 small businesses choose Gusto. That's Gusto.com. Gusto.com.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
I'm digging the music today. I will say that. And we got a game time. It's brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, fellas.
It's Tully time. Tully time.
It's Tully time.
All right, the Mets with interim manager Andy Green. They will be opening up a series with the Phillies tonight at Citi Field. Coverage immediately following us right here after ENN on 880, 6:30. The Yankees continue their series with the Red Sox. That's a 7:10 first pitch. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We continue with your calls. Let's get as many as we can because a lot of fans want to sound off. Let's go to Paul in Westchester. Paul.
Hello? Can
What's
you hear
up?
me?
Hey, Paul, we got you. You're on the air.
Okay. So before I get to my main point, just one main example of Stearns' ineffectiveness is he couldn't even keep his first base coach, who was the best first base coach in baseball. I mean, was that a money issue? Anyway, but beside that, I thought it was very interesting in that I have a long enough history with the Mets that I remember back in 1990, the last time they blew up the entire team. Bob Klapisch wrote a book called The Worst Team Money Could Buy. It's when Strawberry left, they brought in Coleman, they brought in Bonilla, they brought in Saberhagen, and it turned out to be the same exact type of disaster that we're living through right now. You can't make wholesale changes like that on a team. Think about it. If Pete Alonso was at first base and you had Bichette playing okay, or you had Lindor, and you had Soto, and you had the two young guys, get rid of Vientos and Beatty, but you actually have the core of a team that could possibly win. But Alonso was 20 RBIs. You could never replace that. And it boggles my mind how he ruined this team. And you'll never get Alonso back. So you've got a homegrown player this is the second worst loss since Seaver in my mind. It's M. Donald Grant. You lost a really good player who was he's the only guy in the Mets who actually has a record. He has a rookie home run record. No one else. There's no offensive record.
No, this was an opportunity, Paul, and that was what was frustrating to lose him. And that was the guy that bothered me the most, was because of the whole forever thing. The Ed Kranepool rant is just based on just that.
Yeah,
the Mets just can't keep any forever players, and you go back to that '92 team, and this is the worst since the worst team money can buy. But at least, guys, looking back at that team, they were able to bring in players that had a resume. Vince Coleman had a resume. Brett Saberhagen had a resume. Bobby Bonilla had a resume.
Right.
The guys here bring in, did we really expect, was Polanco and Simeon going to be superstar? They weren't superstar players.
Peter loved Lou Bob. What do you mean?
Well, I was very high.
Luis Robert?
You almost forget he's on the team, Robert Jr., because he hasn't played. And what was the bugaboo when he was in Chicago? He didn't play.
Yeah.
Bless
you.
That's probably the best of the players they acquired. But, like, I'm not going to ever sit there and say that, I'm not going to blame what happened in the early 90s, but at least you brought in players that had a back of a baseball card and they just didn't live up to it, but you understood why you got them. Not analytically driven, trying to get guys on the cheap. You brought in stars and it blew up in your face. He didn't bring in stars, guys. It might be a little bit more forgivable if you brought in stars. Then you could blame the players, right?
Of course. That's the thing. You're right. You're not living up to who you are, your resume. You didn't bring in anybody that had a resume or a legit one. That's exactly it. It's easier to blame players when you spend a lot of money on players and bring them in and they underperform. Then it's clear. Like, well, wait a minute. You did this in these other places. You're not doing it here. Soto would be the guy that you could be killing right now if he wasn't performing up to par, right? The only thing you can complain about is that, okay, he's kind of getting hurt a lot, right? Like he does have nagging injuries, but for the most part, he's still productive. That makes total sense. Mark in Staten Island, you're up next, Mark.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Mark.
What's up?
So I understand why people aren't looking at what the Knicks did. They are kind of like the anti-analytic team. They got a bunch of guys. Brunson's an undersized guard. Cat can't play defense. Mitch has no shot. Can't shoot free throws. Josh Hart's a glorified journeyman kind of role player. And they just got the right guys at the right time with the right chemistry, and it worked out. So you kind of did the anti-analytics to an extent. You can say the same thing about the 90s Yankees, where there was no analytics back then. You had no guy hit over 30 home runs on the 98 Yankees. It was just the right guys at the right time that meshed correctly. And I don't see why people have these in their own town and don't use them as examples.
Because it's too risky.
Yeah,
Mark, that's the problem. It's too risky.
Great job. Yeah.
They feel like if they go with their gut, they're not going to survive unless they're absolutely right. The Knicks were right.
Right.
Leon Rose was right. But if Leon Rose was wrong, he'd probably get shown the door, and they'll bring in a guy that'd be more analytic because analytic is safe because there's a number to back up why you did it. Well, 65% of the time it works. So why would I not? Why would I go with the 35% that usually doesn't work?
Yeah, and you could, again, it was more of a style. It was like fit, players who fit, what fit better. Randall, was a productive player. See, Randall was the perfect analytics guy. Well, wait a minute. He gets you 20. He gives you almost 10 a game, rebounds-wise, efficiency. Like, why would I move a guy like that? Well, because he doesn't fit with Brunson. You need a center that pulls the bigs away from the paint to open up the paint because that's how Brunson plays. So it's all complementary pieces that you put together. And while there was criticism about some of it, you know what? They don't really have traditional great three-point shooters. They don't really have traditional great one-on-one defenders. But if I put the right pieces together and I find a system that play, I can make these guys because what you can't factor in is chemistry, which they have with the Villanova guys, and fit
and winning
personalities. And that's what Leon Rose built a team based off personalities and fit, not necessarily on what the statistics tell you.
Do you realize how antithetical the whole Villanova thing is to the way analytics, particularly in baseball, are?
Absolutely.
Trying to get the machine to understand, no, these guys have championship DNA together. They just go. It'll work. That is literally an idea that does not exist.
But Alan, when you were out, my top 5 on Wednesday was the top 5 second-round picks since they went to this format in 1989. And Brunson was on that list. That's why Brunson dropped to the second round. Because they didn't appreciate winning and guts and clutch. I'm sorry, I can't take a guy that small in the first round.
Right, 6'2", short arms. Yeah, it doesn't jump high.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
And because they didn't have the guts to look at all the things. They just want to be able to back up. These scouts want to be able to back up and say, hey, this is why I'm not going to rate him as high because I can't quantify winning. I can't quantify clutch. I can't quantify these abilities. So I'm going to go with the taller player or the faster player or the guy that can jump higher. That's all. That's where it goes. I don't know if you saw the list, if you respected it as a basketball guy.
I did see the list, and I did respect it as a basketball guy. It was very good. You hear that noise in the background, fellas?
They're still working?
Well, they're about to finish up for the day, but I can tell you the door is now installed completely. It is gorgeous. They're moving away now the bracing for the ceiling because you got to brace the ceiling when you can open up a hole like that in your wall, right? Or else the whole house comes down. So now they're moving that out of the way. But the door is gorgeous. I'm very excited about it. Work is underway here. And the door we got from Rings End. And that's why I want to tell you about Rings End. They have an extensive inventory of built-to-last high-end product lines that contractors like my guy Michael Weldon relies on. Michael and his son Zach here just going through it. By the way, they allowed me to step in and help out today. I didn't put a tool belt on. No,
They're
I didn't.
enabling you.
They did not enable me. I did get to work the drill a little bit because we had to move some things. They need some help with the door. They needed one extra set of hands. I was glad to do it. But Michael made it clear to me that I was overstaying when I kind of hung around for a little longer. Then he's like, you can go now. You're done. I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. So, but it was still awesome, and the door looks great. And if you and your contractor want to get something for your kitchen, something for your house, they have doors, windows, all the stuff you need to update and upgrade your home. Rings End has showrooms with products you can touch, feel, and try so you know exactly what you're getting. They have 8 full-service lumber yards in Connecticut and Westchester County, 12 freestanding paint centers as well. Family-owned and operated since 1902. They're not a national chain. They're Northeast, so they know your area well. And if you can't make it to a store, just shop online at ringsend.com. That's ringsend.com. Guys, it's time for ENN coming up next.
Yeah.
Don Hahn Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
When I need a ride I can actually count on, I call Broadway Elite Limousine. It's who I use, and yeah, I'm not just partnering with anyone for my rides, because whether it's a night out, a trip to the airport, or a corporate event, or even getting a group where they need to go, Broadway Elite makes it easy for me, and they can do the same for you. Clean vehicles, professional drivers, and they're always buttoned up. That's why I trust Broadway Elite Limousine. Book your next ride at BroadwayElite.com. Broadway Elite Limousine, arrive like a pro.
Hey Yankees fans, join us at Yankee Stadium on Friday, July 3rd for a very special night. Fireworks Night, presented by Baby Ruth. Bring your family and friends as the Yankees take on the Twins, and stay after the game for a spectacular post-game fireworks show celebrating the 250th birthday of America. Get your tickets now at Yankees.com/tickets. Don't miss the Yankees and Twins Fireworks Night, Friday, July 3rd, presented by Baby Ruth. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are the 2026 NBA champions. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no co-pays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks a million, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of the night and an awesome weekend. We've got the Mets home over at Citi Field. First pitch just a little over an hour away, and it's also fireworks night and a Pride jersey giveaway. Stop and go ride at the Whitestone Bridge getting into Queens. You're backed up onto the southbound Hutch in the Bronx. Grand Central eastbound. Some pockets of slowdowns heading over to the stadium. Delays go back onto the Bronx and Manhattan legs of the Triborough Bridge. No relief on the east side of town. FDR southbound. A big collision by the Williamsburg Bridge. Only one lane is squeezing by. You're jammed there from the Triborough on down. Worst ride to the outbound, George. They're all pretty bad. Cross Bronx westbound. Some debris in the left lane by the Deegan. That is you slam from the Bruckner on through. Inbound, George, still going to run you about an hour for the upper deck using 8095. A little bit better from the 4 and 46 approaches. Outbound Lincoln will run you 20 to 30. Outbound Holland 30 to 40. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is an ENN special report. Now reporting.
The very handsome Jewish man, Peter Rosenberg.
We should talk some sports. Do what you want. It's ENN.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to ENN. It's brought to you by, first of all, it's on
Ray-Ro.
You ever watch YouTube? And it's brought to you by Fanatics Fest NYC. Fanatics Fest returns to the Javits Center July 16th through 19th. Jalen Brunson, karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. I heard about a very cool Jalen Brunson thing happening earlier. It's going to be very neat at Fanatics Fest. It's all happening at the world's largest sports fan festival. Go to fanaticsfest.com for tickets. I'd like to start off tonight's big old ENN by saying good evening to Don.
Everything I do is to try to keep it tasty.
Very good.
And to myself. Oh, sorry, to Alan.
People probably won't be that interested. They'll be more interested in what Peter has to say.
Clean day.
Yeah.
Good evening to myself.
You missed a lot of things I said.
You're listening to Alan while another man is just banging away at his house.
Excuse me?
That's 2 out of 3 clean days.
No,
yeah. Well, no one, we're not respected. Good evening to Don and the caller.
You know, the way that you articulated it, Lawrence, I'm going to say no fraud.
What?
For 2 reasons. I want to just isolate the who.
Who?
Did you hear that? The happiness?
I'm glad I'm able to make somebody happy like that. That my opinion matters to him.
Mm-hmm. That you he was relieved.
Oh yeah.
Of your approval. He was that worried.
It was like he needed it.
Whew.
That's what you love to hear. Let's say good evening to Sham Charania. He was on Get Up earlier and he talked about the latest the latest with LeBron and the Lakers.
The Lakers have been pursuing parallel paths throughout this offseason. So the first one is getting Austin Reeves done, which obviously 4 years, $185 million max deal. Then it's about taking care of LeBron, figuring that out. Then Rui Hachimura. But at the same time, they've been pursuing trades that bring in salary into their space. They have almost $50 million in space. So who can they go get? And that would have an impact on what they can potentially offer LeBron James. My understanding is the Lakers have not made an offer to LeBron as of yesterday. So over the next 5 or 6 days, we'll learn more. And also the Lakers will have an opportunity to be more active to see what does the roster look like by the time they get back to LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Alan, where do you think it ends up going? Nowhere? Take your time.
Honestly.
He doesn't care.
No, I think it's not predictable.
Oh. Really?
No. This offseason is going to be crazy. But they always are. But this one especially with brand names.
You seemed very impressed by what Charlotte's doing early on.
I liked that move of LaMelo Ball, moving on from him. Because while he is a very popular player, I don't want to say he's not a winning player, but I think it's Instagram basketball.
Wow. Hot take.
I think what the Hornets need to do, they have some really good players, and I just think it also opens up the ability for them, if possible, to make themselves available for a Jaylen Brown trade.
No.
I would keep an eye on that. Charles Lee is a coach there. He was an assistant in Boston. So just interesting there. But that whole LaMelo and Anthony Edwards pairing, it could be entertaining, but not for all the right reasons.
You don't think it'll be good basketball, though?
I don't know. It could be at times. Like I said, for the gram, it could be beautiful. But I I don't know. I don't know what it turns into.
What did you send me?
I just sent you Repug, Peter, just for fun.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Did I get some?
No, you got it.
Oh, I did get some.
It was just for you guys to enjoy Repug.
I'm telling you that if you told me that was like a cousin of yours, I'd believe it more than I'd believe it used to be you.
That's his Repug.
And that's in New York. That's like on Hot 97 still.
Well,
what do you think about
congratulations
that?
on the turnaround.
Yeah, look at you. Aging like fine wine.
I mean, listen, not every day was that bad, but that's
if he was that bad.
That's exactly what I was thinking as I said it. In there, I was that bad. Like I have other pictures from before that, but like,
yeah,
like here's a picture from the same day that just popped up, and this is called "What It's Like When Like You Just Don't Have Any Real Friends Who Care About You."
If he was that bad,
who don't tell you the truth.
They don't want you to know.
They don't want you to look good. They don't like. Just describe what's going on here.
See that? Well, now you know how I feel. If somebody had just taken you aside,
yep,
and said, "Give up on the hair."
Yeah, why are you keeping your hair like short, but there's still hair?
Right,
it's still there.
You know, how about why don't you invest in some facial hair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it looks right there. I could have probably a beard right there, but instead
and incorporate a salad or two.
And plus the salad, sure.
I can talk to him
Now,
like
last
this
but
because
not
this is what he said to my Repug pictures.
Every
That's
now
right.
and then you can have water in a salad. It's okay. You can do that.
Well, at least one. But look at. But hold on, even bigger than the salad. What's the sideburn decision?
That was where I was going next. Is were you trying to do the reverse Luke Perry?
I don't.
But
send these out, Peter, because I don't want to feel that the listeners be left out.
You want me to tweet one of these photos?
I don't look like the way I look now, but that's the meat of Repug.
No, I think the best drop to play to sum that up is when he goes, "I was fighting obesity. You were losing." That's
losing too.
The timing on that you were losing was just perfect.
But then look, I mean, this is like I'm going to show you another picture from almost the exact same era.
Even Obama would be like, "Listen, vote for King."
Yeah, take the shirt.
Yeah, take the shirt off. You're not helping me. I appreciate you being on board early, but this is we don't need you.
I'll take the vote. Just don't need the
just
support.
Spread the word, but just
spread the word, but don't post the
more
pic.
audio, less visual.
This one isn't as bad though.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. It's the same era, and I look fine. It's fine.
Well, we all look better in black and white.
That's a great point by you.
Let me just say, the other one, I got to send it. Not send it, but just center it and just like show it to the camera. Look at that.
You're showing to
a little over more. There
you go.
Well, why are you doing this?
Look
this
at
is
him.
not.
Look at him. Look at those cheeks.
We have an audience of people that want to know what the hell we're talking about.
The guy's got jowls for days.
I was fighting with obesity. I wore.
You were losing.
It's such a great drop.
It really is. It just cut
right
right
through.
through.
So in the moment. He had no idea I was going to.
I mean, it hides wrinkles, your jowls, your double chin.
Jowls.
You had.
Welcome to the Friday.
Christ.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. All right, we're all right. Let's all pull it back
You
together.
won, Peter. It was worth it. You know what? It was
kidding me?
worth it.
Look at him winning.
Yeah, but listen, relative to then, I'm certainly winning. Exactly.
Sometimes the mountain you climb is you.
Okay. Well, listen. Now here's a special one, guys. Just last thing.
Do we have 13 more minutes of puns? Or?
No, hold on. I have one last thing. This is me when guys, you've probably heard the stories before. You've heard me mention when I was DJing at McDonald's. I was DJing at McDonald's after I was fired from radio in like 2006.
Like in a McDonald's?
Actually in a McDonald's. And this picture that I sent you was on the flyer.
Wait a minute.
That was on the flyer. Don, you want to show something to the people. Show this to the people.
This right here, boys.
Yeah, look at it. Oh, dear
This
God.
right here is just look at him making love to that Big Mac.
It might be a chicken sandwich. I can't really tell what's going on there.
I never really looked at it. That
Looking
close.
at that, this is before
That is
he
a chicken.
bites
No,
the
that's
sandwich.
Is that a filet-o-fish?
Yeah, but it looks like a filet-o-fish, but that's insane because I would never
it's a
order.
look, here we go. A little closer, you could see it.
No, that's a filet-o-fish. I would never order that, so I don't understand it.
But looking at that picture and you have that reaction before you bit into it,
right?
I'm thinking premature.
I'm thinking Norwegian wood.
And then lastly,
we get another
the first time I ever met Mike Tyson. Look at this. Look, this is when I went out and stalked him in Arizona.
I'm just glad that your shirt's not off too.
His eyes are saying, "Look at this freak."
Yeah.
Get this freak away from me. This guy's a lunatic.
But
Peter
you
thankfully
couldn't be
left the
happier.
shirt on.
You could not be happier.
Yeah, you are.
No, that's a good moment. That's a good moment, no question. All right, it hasn't been a great moment for Brendan Sorsby. He's had another door closed for his football future. The CFL said on Friday that he will not be allowed to join any of its teams for the upcoming season. Guys, can you explain to me what's going on here? I thought that he was going to get suspended for a couple of games but be able to play.
Right, but I guess he figures this is I want to go pro and not have to go through the humiliation of the suspension. And maybe he's getting wind that he may not have a starting job after it's over. I don't know. He must feel like
there must be
he's
something
gonna be a
else.
pariah there, and let me get out.
I think Texas Tech also said, if I'm not mistaken, we're good. We'll pay you the NIL we were going to give you. We don't want you on our team.
Which is a absolute about face when it comes to them pushing the appeal.
Like
right?
if the whole entirety of the college football world is against you, do you really want the guy? Because then who are you going to play?
But that was the problem. Is
Well,
the whole
that's the
conference
issue,
said
yeah.
we're not going to play.
Yeah, we're good. We're all set here.
Which is
And
the
so
right thing
they
to do,
took a
'cause it was
stand.
ridiculous that he only got a 2-game suspension.
Now, with that in mind, did you see the Jesse Rogers thing? I posted it yesterday. We didn't really get into it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mentioned it, I think, right? The whole idea that Major League Baseball
Was it Passan or Rogers?
It was Rogers who had this thing about the fact that they was it. Now I'm confused.
No, it was Jesse Rogers talking about in the negotiations, I believe it was. Or
And
no, maybe
no. I'm. It's a mistake by me. It was Passan, and it was about the Major League Baseball Players Association wanting to fight against. They want to put a ban on player props because of this reason, because not only do these players get attacked for not hitting their whatever the parlay was or hitting a number that was the over-under, and now all of a sudden it's my fault that you're the one that betted on me hitting, getting 2.5 hits, right? Do I get 3 hits or not? Like, that's my fault? But it's gotten really ugly. We all know how much these players have been attacked on social media, their families, all this stuff. This really does happen. We've all seen the stories. Don, you've seen it in hockey. I've seen it in basketball. It happens everywhere. But it's also players that are betting on their own sport because they know whether or not a player is healthy. They know whether or not, and we've seen that happen too. So how much in the sports betting realm, maybe they have to start changing some of these things you can bet on, because and Sorsby's a great example of somebody that got caught up in it. I don't know if it's an addiction, whatever it was. Clearly, there has to be something. But look what it's doing to his career.
But baseball's got to be careful, man, because baseball and hockey are the two sports, probably a little bit more baseball, that without the prop bets, you're not going to get much gambling. And I think we could all agree that the sport's got to pop by the legalized gambling. Now, football, yes. I could bet a game on football. I don't need props for football. They have props, but I don't need it. I could bet the spread. Same with basketball. Hockey, it's goal and a half usually.
Right.
But you ever see trying to bet on baseball where you're betting on the starting pitchers? Now you got openers. Like I don't want to say popularity, but it could suffer a little bit if you took the prop bets away. Nobody's really betting on the games as much, I wouldn't think, because it's kind of confusing.
Couldn't you just keep it to team props rather than players individually? Because again, Don, if you believe in someone who's going to have 2 goals in this game, or someone's going to have a goal, or anytime goal, any of that stuff, and then he hits the post or something, and it costs you a ton of money, Like, some of these people lose their minds, and they go crazy on them.
Right, but what I'm saying is be careful. It could affect ratings on games. It could affect, like, general interest. If I can't bet prop bets.
But then how do you stop the stalking and the threats and all the things that end up happening with these players? And on top of it, what we saw in the NBA with players who have inside information and are giving it out to other people saying, hey, bet on this and that.
You can't do it. You're banned for life if we find out you're betting on the game.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. They should get rid of it altogether. I'm just wondering how much would it affect the popularity
It's fair.
of hockey and football and baseball if you take away the prop bets.
All right. Sorry for that left turn.
Let's be honest. They're just throwing tools at this point. They've given up on the project.
You're right.
They're throwing wrenches.
You think
down
that's
the
what you're
hallway.
hearing in the background? They're just
Don, tell me they didn't
this
just
is
give
fake
up and
work?
start throwing tools.
Your gun's out of bullets, so you just throw the gun.
You think they it's like after 5, they want to sound like they're busy, so they're hammering the ground right now.
Right.
That's it.
Toolbox secure.
That's sure. Now, last night, as we just talked about, the U.S. ended up losing late to who did they lose to again? Jacob, do you remember?
Who, the United States?
Yeah.
Türkiye.
There it is.
Thank you. There it is.
I figured, why wouldn't you know? And then I
Jeremy Schaap on what we learned from the USMNT's loss.
I think the most important thing we learned is that Christian Pulisic looks fully fit.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else, right, was officially meaningless. There were 10 guys starting out of the 11 who were on the bench when the game against Paraguay 13 days ago started. Only Weston McKennie among this team's core of starters was there at the beginning tonight. You know, what we were all waiting for in terms of what matters most going forward was seeing Christian Pulisic in action. He hadn't played in 13 days. He only played in that first half against Paraguay. He comes into the game tonight in the 58th minute, and he was electric.
And I think Jeremy's right. I mean, watching it, I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I didn't have volume on in the bedroom. It's late. It was late night, right?
10 o'clock.
And it's already keeping the room bright. So I'm fighting to just keep the TV on, right? So I did not like a lot of things I saw. Like the defense reminded me of this U.S. team at their worst, like in past World Cups. But then when you find out they literally did not have one starting defender or the goalkeeper, you feel okay about what you saw. They really didn't show anything. And keep in mind, what was the name of the team we played against, Jacob?
Türkiye.
Keep in mind, yeah, that's right. You know what? It does work as a song back to back. I like it. They keep in mind that they played everyone. So when you look at it from that standpoint, guys, you got to say the backups were pretty impressive, and you really shouldn't feel any way heading in now to Wednesday's matchup against Bosnia. And you just hope it's not too much Herzegovina. That's the problem. You know, you can get completely killed by that. You think you've prepared for Bosnia. Alan, it's not fair to have to play two countries.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, why are two countries getting to form together to play against you? Is that what it takes? You're so good, it takes two countries to take us out.
They were already cheated years ago when they didn't make the tournament because they had to play Trinidad and Tobago.
And
here they are. So some fun stuff earlier, by the way. Not a great day. I don't know how extended our Iraqi soccer universe is that listens to the program.
Mm-hmm.
But last I saw, they were down 5-0 to Senegal.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of goals.
That's the dreaded 5-0 lead, though. Right. We all know that.
Well, that's when you're always ripe for them to come right back. They drop a quick 6 on you. By the way, we talked about the Knicks comeback, for example. How much more improbable would a 5-0 soccer lead be? Like, to me, that's probably 5 to 10 times harder than what the Knicks did.
I'm going to say, and listen, I know very little about soccer.
Go ahead.
I would not be shocked if it's never happened in World Cup play.
Oh, I don't
Where
think
a team came back from 5-0?
Yeah. I would not be shocked if it's never happened.
I bet there's a chance never more than 3. I could see that being the limit of a World Cup comeback.
3-0, you mean? Like 3-0's the biggest
a
comeback.
three-goal
like
deficit. That
three.
could be the biggest. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find the statistic. But on the biggest stage, which we're talking about right now, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off, but your bet goes with them. Well, not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, your player subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. Your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitutes. You're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21+. Physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I searched it out, and according to the Google, the greatest comeback in men's FIFA World Cup history is widely considered to be, I guess they didn't keep records back in the day, Portugal's 5-3 victory over North Korea in the 1966 quarterfinal, where Portugal overcame a 0-3 deficit.
There you go.
Okay.
The second largest deficit ever overturned in a tournament history occurred in 1954 quarterfinals when Austria beat Switzerland 7-5, also down 3 goals. So 3
listen,
seems
they don't give these jobs to chimps. I had a hunch 3 is beyond 3 is impossible.
7-5 is the final, though?
No, that's beautiful.
I'm tuning
That's
in to
soccer.
watch 7-5.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Well, you might be tuning into Wimbledon because Serena Williams will be in singles action.
Love that.
And she will open up the tournament against an opponent less than half her age when she plays 20-year-old Maya Joint of Australia in the first round. It's her first singles match in nearly 4 years. Serena is 44 years old, accepting the wild card entry. We also know she'll be in doubles with Venus, who turned 46 last week. It'll be interesting to see, guys, whether she can, I have no clue. After this long a layoff, can she hang in the first round against a 20-year-old?
I hope so, but you wouldn't think. More than twice her age?
I mean, guys, we thought Jimmy Connors was a big deal. Imagine if Serena went on a run.
My biggest issue is just covering the ground she's got to cover. I'm not worried about the power or the accuracy. I just think her lateral movement is the biggest question. Can she cover the ground she used to cover?
And does she still have the power she used to have? Because if she has the power, then at least when she's on serve, you can control what you're doing enough that they're not able to push you around.
Good point.
It'll be interesting to see. That will do it for ENN, brought to you by, of course, our friends over at Fanatics Fest. If you want to try to win tickets, get on the ESPN New York app, go to the contest tile, and win yourself a pair of tickets to go to Fanatics Fest.
Get down on it.
Oh.
Get down on it.
Okay.
Get down on it.
Peter's on board.
Turkey, eh? A turkey, eh?
I need a song by Monday. Tuesday. I'll give you till Tuesday.
Yeah.
Till Tuesday.
Put a beat
We
to
need
it.
a turkey, eh song.
Show me something.
All right. Monday.
This is fun. This is great. Have a great weekend, but we've got a huge week, including the Beach Bash next week.
This is the Michael K. Show.
David Stearns should be ashamed of himself. His unbelievable